Mind of a Geek is brought to you by the new Mind of a Geek t-shirt. Get yours today at tiny.cc/igswag. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mind of a Geek. I am your host, Nate, and I am joined by Brandon.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm super.
Thanks for asking.
It
is another Friday night, and as mentioned, we apologize for taking our week off last week. I had a little bit of a vacation, and end of summer, Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. But we're back. We have stools. We're up high. The window's open. It's nice and cool in here.
The video is different for the live chat room. Hello, live chat room.
You can see our whole bodies now.
I know. I don't like it. It encouraged me to get back to the gym. But anyway, so we're back from vacation. Our guest this week, I am really excited to have on. I have been a big fan of his for a while, including shows like FilmSat, Coverville. Recently started, I say recently, it's been a little while now, Soundography with one of our past guests, Hammond Chamberlain. And then I think most notably, probably TMS with Scott Johnson. Our guest this evening, Coverville himself, Mr. Brian Ibbott. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you for forsaking your Friday night to come hang out with us.
Yes.
I'm making it work. I've got a gin and tonic and a zombie mug. I'm making it work.
Very nice. Yeah, I've got my Shipyard Pumpkinhead. He's got Sam Adams Oktoberfest. So
nice.
We are ready to roll in fall.
So what you guys need is the lower third. If you're worried about being up high with the stools, have a lower third thing that's got your names and the logo of the show and all that stuff.
That's
and then
true.
You've got it all hidden.
That's true. Right around the crotch, right?
Right, exactly.
We'll just put our names there.
Yeah, that's right. You
That's
put
the
your
industry
name
term
over
for
here, and
that.
I'll put my name over here. So I think first off, we should applaud you for your great ad read for All Geeked Up.
Ooh,
When I say geek, you say.
thank you.
Oh,
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right. That's right. That was a good ad. A lot of people send their ads into the show and I read them and I try and add some flourish and add some stuff. You guys didn't need any flourish. You had plenty of flourish. Flourish to spare is what you guys had in that read.
See, so here's a little secret behind that ad, right? So Mind of a Geek, I kind of written, it was just the description of the show and I tweaked a couple things for the ad, right? Mm-hmm. So the All Geeked Up is a new show. It's only like episode 6 or 7. So when I had mentioned that it was done by another host of the episode, the other host is Amy Frost, who know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So so she knows you well as well. So I'm like, all right, we need to write this ad for Brian.
Very good. See, there you go. You painted with my colors, which is what I like. Yes.
So that's why I started off with the energy. I loved that it ended with Scott. That was awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you guys did a great job there. So
Cool.
So let's roll in. Let's have a little bit of format in the beginning for any one of our listeners who may not know who you are. Why don't you give a brief rundown about, kind of the shows? I mean, we don't need to go way back to how you got started podcasting.
Or we don't want to go into like, old stuff like This Day in Music or
right.
No problem.
Or how you had to borrow people's phones.
If I could, yeah. Started out in 2004, September 2004, around the time that they were turning what was called MP3 blogs into podcasting, with a show called Coverville, which is still going strong today, almost 1,200 episodes later. Basically, it's a showcase of independent music, but it's songs you're familiar with, done by people maybe you're not so familiar with, independent artists doing covers that really transform the original into something new. And great examples of this. I mean, probably the most recent best example of this is Disturbed and that cover of Sound of Silence, which is easily was my favorite cover of 2016, and just amazing stuff.
They've always done really well with their covers.
They really have. Yeah. I mean, you look at stuff like Land of Confusion and what was the one kind of in between? Well, Land of Confusion is a great one to look at because here's this kind of protest pop song by Genesis, and they turn it in and it gives it the anger that it deserves.
Right.
So in addition to that, co-host the morning stream 5 or 4 days a week, 5 episodes a week with some indie guy that people probably haven't heard of. Some guy with a big unit from what I hear. And not the instance. I'm not on the instance. Film Sack. See, this gin and tonic's doing really well.
Awesome.
Film Sack with Randy, Brian, and Scott Johnson. And like you mentioned, soundography with Hammond, where this is a fun one. We just started doing this a couple years ago, or a year and a half ago. And we listened to an entire band's catalog over the course of 7 days. Now for Hammond, it's 7 days. For me, it's like 3 days because I'm listening to stuff for Coverville for the first part of the week.
Right.
And then by the time it rolls, like as soon as Coverville's done, I switch gears and start listening to the band. So for me, it's like, all right, here is the one we just recorded today is Primus, which is going to be posted in a couple of weeks as we do the editing and stuff. But 3 days solid of Primus is about enough for anybody to I don't know, sail the seas of cheese. I don't know where I was going to go with that, but it is enough for one person. I think I'm a one Primus album at a time guy.
Yeah, you're probably lucky to have maintained your sanity at that point.
I think so. Yeah. All hail Les Claypool, amazing bass guitarist. But boy, do you need you need a break in between albums for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. Big Brown Beaver for you?
Yeah, right. Jerry was a race car driver. Right. Yeah, see, I was never really a Primus fan. I do like their album where they do the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory covers.
Yes.
Like I love their cover of Pure Imagination, which is one of my favorite songs ever.
That's cool. They do a really good job with that.
They
keep it recognizable, but not a carbon copy of the original, which is exactly the way it should be. But some of the other stuff on that album, like the Augustus Gloop Oompa Loompa tune and I Want It Now and stuff like that, you've really got to struggle to see where the parallels are between that and the original.
I think with Pure Imagination, they knew that they had to, because it's such an iconic song.
It's holy ground.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So have you ever kind of delved into any of other Claypool stuff, like Colonel Claypool's Bucket of Bernie Brains or anything like that?
I haven't. Yeah, we talked about on the show today, like a lot of his solo projects, and there just wasn't time.
Yeah.
I do know he was almost a member of Metallica, and that blows my mind to think of what Metallica would have been like with Les Claypool as the bass guitarist. Mm-hmm. A completely different band. Yeah. I mean, it would have been amazing.
We just saw Metallica recently, and if Claypool was there, I can't imagine.
Right. Because his bass guitar is so dominant that it just would be all you'd hear is Les Claypool playing bass and like maybe a little bit of Lars and a little bit of Kirk in the background there.
Maybe if James doesn't turn the volume down.
Right.
Right.
So I've actually never listened to Coverville. I listen to TMS a lot. So you guys do indie bands.
That's right.
And you review them doing covers?
Not really even review. It's more like it's a straight ahead music show with like a couple breaks, anywhere from a dozen to 15, 20 songs. No, not 20, but a dozen to like 18 songs per show with a couple music breaks in between, all centered around a theme. So just recently, because of the passing of Walter Becker, I did a Steely Dan tribute show, and so had a lot of covers of Steely Dan stuff in there. Some rock, some acoustic guitar, some jazz, some punk. I mean, it's great when you can find here's this yacht rock jazz fusion kind of standard band like Steely Dan. I'm a big fan. But then you kind of branch out into these covers and say, all right, well, let's do like this female vocal indie pop version of this, and let's do a lounge version or even a blues version of this one. And it's really cool to be able to hear all these things. Basically, the paintings, like here's the way I describe it, kind of playing off that paintings thing. If there could have been another artist along with Leonardo da Vinci painting the Mona Lisa, wouldn't you have loved to have seen his rendition of the Mona Lisa?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so that's kind of the way I think of covers.
That sounds like a show that's right up my alley. There's a lot of songs that I end up preferring being covered.
Oh, see, so I was wrong then. I thought that you were more of the original guy.
No.
Okay,
I asked because I had a suggestion.
Okay.
And Ashley in the chat room will be happy that I bring it up. There's a band that's local to this area. Not really a band. It's one guy. He plays all the instruments at once. But he does a cover of Baba O'Reilly. That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Which after the show, I'll send you the link. I have it on. I recorded it. I'll send you the YouTube link.
Oh,
but
for sure.
he is Suitcase Junket.
Yeah.
My favorite artist. And I know him. Matt is an amazing guy and super talented. It's worth taking a look.
Cool. Actually, that being said, we should probably give you the link. We have a friend of ours who was a former member of his father's band called Signal to Noise. Now, they're a little bit harder rock, but his dad loves the classic music. And the band before that, his father's band was called Our Past, and they do an amazing cover of Don't You Forget About Me.
Oh, cool.
To the point where I know people who say it's better than the original.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, no, again, covers. I mean, and again, I had misspoke. For some reason, I thought he was more of an original guy. We clash.
I deep dive, man. Like,
we clash a lot on music.
Yeah, we do. we do and we don't. I guess it's an age thing now. As we've gotten older, I think our tastes have gone like this. Because in my age, I've mellowed out and I kind of like folk, like Steve Earle covering Nirvana. I like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I'm all over the place with my taste now.
Right. I'm very much my number one band is Avenged Sevenfold.
Okay.
And
there you go. That's a good. Now I know where the bar is.
Right. Yeah. So and all of their walks, like a lot of people who like them either like their original stuff with like Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, which was very garagey and heavy metal, compared to their new stuff, which like their newest album is with Bruce Wackerman, formerly of Bad Religion. So there's obviously a clearly different style there. Yeah, for a while they had Mike Portnoy drumming from them from Dream Theater.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
But no, they are my number one. Like that when he said we recently saw Metallica, it was in New Jersey. We live in Maine. I was only willing to make the 6-hour drive because Avenged was also there.
Which is crazy.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's blasphemy. Why wouldn't you make that drive for Metallica?
I've seen
Let me just say
exactly.
that. Who had the better sound system?
Oh, Metallica sounded better.
That's right.
But yeah, no, so I mean, man, we could sit here and talk about music forever. What is we'll end it with an impossible question.
Sure.
What is your favorite cover?
Oh, not impossible at all.
Oh, okay.
It's a cover. Okay, so there's this guitarist guy named Jason Faulkner.
Okay.
And he was a member of Jellyfish back in the 90s, kind of a psychedelic pop band, like Total Flower Power, trying to resurrect that whole vibe. He left that band, went solo. He formed another band called The Grays, and then he went solo again. And during that second solo period, he's been solo ever since. He released this album, this tribute album called Everyone Says It's On. And it's a double disc set. One disc is all his originals. The other disc is all covers. And he does this cover of Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell, which takes the wistful, melancholy feel of the original and just amps it up. This guy's an amazing guitarist and just completely amps it up into this barnstormer of a rocker. And it doesn't lose any of the feeling of the original. I mean, that's the thing. That's the hurdle, right? That's the trick, is being able to do a cover of the original that keeps the feeling but doesn't lose the meaning behind the song. And that for me just does it. That's the epitome right there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's I've always loved covers. I've always enjoyed them. I like the change. I like when I can take a song that even if it's a cover where I loved the original, and again, it almost breathes new life into it.
Totally does. Yeah.
Even if the covers, I think
go ahead.
I would say even if the cover itself isn't great, it brings back the love for the original, so you can go enjoy the original again.
All right. That's the great thing about a lot of those songs that you love, is that a lot of people love those songs.
Right.
So you're going to end up, as you grow with your taste, somebody's going to cover it and you're going to like what they do. It's bound to match your taste as you go.
Well, hopefully. I mean, you talked about The Who, and got to bring up Linkin Park's cover of Behind Blue Eyes as one of those where it's like, oh man, how did you steer so wrong?
Limp Bizkit?
Limp Bizkit, yeah. That's why.
Yeah. But then there's
I mean, Linkin Park probably could have done it better.
Yeah. See, I'm sorry, did I say Linkin Park? I'm sorry, I meant Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
See, that's something I used to like that I've totally aged out of. I guess I still like Faith.
Yeah.
I
It was a
mean,
great cover.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but again, so I mean, yeah, there's a lot of those. Like, I mean, even for just pop rock, for modern stuff, Seether's cover of George Michael's. What's the name of the song? I know it's never. Is it Never Gonna Dance Again?
It's a Careless Whisper.
Careless Whisper.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then
so good.
Limp Bizkit with Faith, and then a couple of years ago, I mean, probably several at this point. Actually, you played this cover for me on TMS a while back. It was Chester from Linkin Park covering Motley Crue's "Home Sweet Home."
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and that was a good cover too. But I like that modern take, and then going in the complete opposite direction, going with something like Postmodern Jukebox, where they take the modern stuff and make it like old classic
And
music.
1920s it.
Yeah.
Those guys are amazing, and they found the perfect. I don't want to say gimmick or shtick because that kind of cheapens it, but they found the perfect way to not make a joke out of those songs. They do it legit, man. I mean, they're totally doing it because they love that music,
Right?
And it's awesome. It's so cool to see. I mean, and it's a great way to discover a new band too. Like if you go to a bar and the band opens up with a cover and it's a song all of a sudden you've kind of got this template for what you're familiar with. And when you remove that template, if you take away what you know about the song they're covering, what's left is the essence of that band.
Right.
So it kind of brings it to the foreground to say, all right, here's what that band is all about. I love it.
It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
I like that. No, that's cool. Yeah, that gives explanation to why a lot of local and up and coming bands in all different regions always have a cover, because it's like something that the crowd, at the very least, something the crowd can sing along to.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
It's familiarity before you get into the stuff that they're not familiar with, that they'll latch on to a little bit easier now.
Right, for sure. I have to say before we go on to the next thing. Okay, so your mic boom, the arm there, the way it is in the camera. I know you're a gamer. Have you ever played Mirror's Edge?
Yeah, yes. Are you picturing what was her name? Not Shell. That's Portal. But who's the character from Mirror's Edge?
Like in my mind,
parkouring down that thing.
Yeah, like that's an I-beam, and she's going I could totally augment reality that right there.
Right.
Nice. All right. Well, here we'll make this easier for you. I'll put an old dude on here. There we go. All right, we got an old dude sitting on there.
Magoo is golfing. It'll be fine.
Old dude with cat hair stuck to his foot.
I like the depth perception that it gives. Though.
It's like tilt shift, right? Nice.
So, obviously, you have a great love of music because, like you said, 1,200 plus episodes in Coverville. Oh,
there you go.
He couldn't take it anymore.
Obviously, he didn't like where you were going.
No, he didn't. No, he's like, I'm out. I'm out. So. And then, again, a year and a half. And then, I can't believe it's been that long because when, like I said, I mentioned Hammond was on this show. And when he was on here, it was referenced as a project he's working on with Brian that he can't talk about.
Oh, really? So that's when it was. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So it was in that.
Ooh, we totally kept it under wraps, didn't we? Nice.
But so again, you've done this music podcast for 1,200 plus episodes. And then you had the urge to start a new one. So obviously there's a vast love of music.
So, it is, and it's funny because that kind of stemmed from the trivia side of Coverville, which is kind of what we're doing, just now is the trivia behind some of those bands and talking about where they came from and where they started and whose dad they was in this other band and that sort of thing. And it's really cool to kind of get that biography because every time we do an episode, I'm blown away by some aspect of that band, even if it's somebody that I feel like I know really well. I feel like those are the guys.
You
those
just
are the
blew
guys playing
somebody's
D&D
mind
in the other part of the basement.
I didn't know if it was somebody or a cat or.
Oh no, that was a human. Yeah, but even if it's a band that I know really well, sometimes I'll discover these really cool things about that band and be blown away by new trivia. So that aspect of it is it's the best.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of trivia and random knowledge. Cool. With some things that I watch, whether I watch it or listen or anything, I can sometimes be a little oblivious to where I just take it for its surface value. I had no idea that the lead singer of Wallflowers was Dylan's son.
Oh yeah,
and then
right.
Dylan.
And he basically ousted him on stage one time way back. So little things like that, I like it when I find those things out.
Well,
Sure.
you should mention that we do Movie Busters, a podcast that's exactly about that, where I
Right.
culture you in movies to make you look a little bit closer at what we're watching.
Right.
Cool. Very cool.
But yeah,
Cool. I didn't even bring up. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about the shows I did. I forgot to bring up Pokemon Go podcast. I looked down at my shirt and realized, oh yeah, I should probably bring up the Pokemon Go podcast because yes, I am one of those people who still plays that game, and I'm still getting a kick out of it.
it's perfectly okay. At least you didn't go to that horrible thing that was the Niantic like social gathering.
Ingress.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard all about that.
Oh no, you're talking about the Chicago.
Yeah, the
that
thing that
Go
was
Fest thing.
yeah, that was the absolute fail.
Oh, I know. We sent a guy from our show over there, and you know, if nothing else, we got some good comedy out of talking about that thing because that was a train wreck. But yeah, I was in Vegas that weekend. That was the only reason I didn't go myself is because I already had something booked and planned. So I'm really, really glad. My wife said, "Hey, let's go to Vegas for our anniversary." I'm like, "All right, sure, that's fine."
Yeah, Vegas saved you.
Vegas saved me as it does so many times.
Right. So what is I know, like, I don't play it. I played it a little bit.
You definitely played it a little bit. I spent a summer with you walking
It
around.
wasn't the whole summer.
Yeah, it was a good portion of the summer.
Was it?
Ask your question.
Okay. Yeah. I was just curious as far as the podcast. Like, so what is it? What does it focus around? Because because there isn't a whole lot of depth to the game, right?
There is now. They've been adding raids to the game. So they changed the whole gym mechanic to where it's like 6 Pokemon in a gym and you fight them completely differently. Then there are these things that pop up at gyms called raids, where you get some harder to get Pokemon that you need a team of people to take down, legendaries. And so now there's like this whole coordination thing and figuring out, all right, what are the ones I really need to use? Instead of it being just all right, I'm going to just hit them really hard with my Gyarados. It's like, all right, this one is a such and such type. So we need to use all of our rock and ground types against it.
So my question now, Nate,
So
he said raids. He said legendaries. Are you
See?
back in?
See, it's like it maybe doesn't have the depth of WoW, but but there are raids and there are legendaries and
Right. Well, that's kind of my MO when it comes to games. It's either a multiplayer PvP like your Overwatch and your HOTS,
right,
or it's Diablo. I just got into Destiny 2.
yeah. What do you think of that?
Oh, I love it.
Been watching my son and the kid who's staying with us play it, and it looks really, really
Now,
amazing.
is he on Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation?
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah, I went Xbox ways.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got them both, and Destiny 1, I went with the original PlayStation because Sony has that agreement with Activision.
Sure.
But I got more friends on Xbox. In a game like that, you got to go where the bulk is.
You need you want teammates.
And I'll
Gotta go where the bulk is.
I'll end up getting I'll end up getting it on PC just because it's
See, I was trying to wait for it on PC, but the more we talk about
It's
it,
a great
this
game.
is the second show tonight where we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Once the show is over, I might be going to the store. I don't know.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm already level capped and I already finished the campaign.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of short.
Yeah,
because
it is,
it's,
okay.
Yeah, because it's designed in that same mind of like a WoW or something like that, where
Gotcha.
the story is there. They already set up a cliffhanger for the first raid, which is coming out in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it's all about the grind. So in Destiny, I don't know how familiar you are with it, but you have
pretty familiar.
Okay, so you have your player level and your light level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you hit level 20, and then at that point you're grinding out light, and just like for those that may not be familiar,
gear.
yeah, it's your gear score.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then I'm sure when the first DLC comes out, they'll put the player level to 30, and then they'll put it to 40, just like with Destiny 1.
Sure.
So, but I like it, and you can really feel the fact that they asked Blizzard for some polishing technique.
Mm-hmm.
So because I knew they did that with the first one, because Destiny 1 came out and it was a joke, and then when Taken King came out, everyone was like, "Oh my god, how did you make this so much better?" And then,
it was based like the DLC is what really elevated that thing.
Well, come to find out, a couple months later, it got released that they went to Blizzard and asked the Diablo team and said, "Hey, can you help us fix our game?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Why doesn't
That's
everybody do that?
I mean, that's like for a well-established brand like Activision to say, all right, maybe we need some advice on this. I mean, that's
Right.
huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it definitely works because Activision is so. notoriously known for not having depth.
Yeah. Right.
So it's nice to see them caring. And now that we've got Destiny 2 on the Blizzard launcher, my big thing was I'm also a Call of Duty guy. So it's a little late for the World War II game, but it's done by Sledgehammer, so I don't care. But my favorite Call of Duties are always the Treyarchs, which is the Black Ops series.
Oh, okay.
Next year is Treyarch's year, so I'm really hoping that also gets on the launcher. So maybe this will help Activision take PC gaming a little bit more seriously.
That's something that should really take off. Maybe DC can have a little humility and go to Marvel and ask for a little help.
Could you give us some advice on how we make characters?
Could you just polish Superman a little bit? It'll be fine.
Well, I guess the difference there would be Activision and Blizzard are the same company now. But yeah, I see your point.
Well, it's only a matter
Marvel
of time.
asking Disney or Disney asking Marvel how.
Right. Well, I mean,
we're thinking about a sequel to Mulan. How do we make our character have a little more depth?
Well, if you think about it, in some ways, it kind of did happen with Spider-Man and Sony and Marvel. You know, they're like, help us not make a shitty Spider-Man.
Right.
And it worked well. It worked perfectly. It did exactly what they set out to do.
Yeah, I'm excited. I didn't see it in the theater. I'm excited to see the release of it.
It was good.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not out yet, considering Wonder Woman's still in theaters here and already
it's on digital. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Really? Wow. Yeah. I don't know why. Now, my Echo's. I almost said her name. Now my Echo's talking to me for some reason.
I changed mine to computer.
Did you?
It has to be
God,
that
I say
way.
that word all the time, though. I'm sure I do.
So, yeah, I'm a milkman, right? So I get up at like 2 in the morning to go to work, and my Alexa is my Alexa.
You just pissed everybody off.
I know, right? But that's my alarm clock. But at 2 in the morning, trying to say computer in between the alarm noises so it can hear me is just a nightmare. A nightmare. It takes me. I have to get up and get next to it, and I have the guy from Top Gear. The lead host. I can't remember his name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He is the alarm voice, right? And he's basically telling me to get the hell up in the most, British way possible.
Right, yeah.
But I have to wait for him to stop and take a breath so I can tell him to shut the hell up. Every morning it's like that. Nice. I wake up angry.
That reminds me of those people who will on your phones, you have your ring back tone and your text tone.
Yeah.
But your text tone is meant to be like 2 seconds.
Yes, Jeremy Clarkson.
People will put like actual ringtones as their text tones.
Like 8-second long songs in there. And so,
yeah. It's like, jeez.
I used to
having a conversation with somebody and or in the room with somebody who's having a conversation with somebody else, and you're hearing like the entirety of "Never Gonna Give You Up."
Well, that would be the only instance where that would be okay.
Nice.
So when I lived at home, my alarm clock was Nick Cave doing a cover of John the Revelator. You don't know what that is. But my mother hated it. So every morning that would go off. And if you've ever listened to Nick Cave, he's distinctive. Yeah. So if you want to get screamed at 6 in the morning, have that as your alarm.
Was that from his Murder Ballads?
No, but that was the album that introduced me to Nick Cave. And now Nick Cave is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah,
that was from. There's a folk compilation, and that was the song that he contributed to it.
Oh, cool!
So it's not actually on any of his albums, but Murder Ballads. I love Murder Ballads. That's a great album.
It really is. Yeah, so good.
Is he I assume a musician?
Yeah, if you want to think like lounge singer.
Yeah.
So stereotypically, like he is the lounge singer from hell.
Ah, okay.
Right, yeah.
It's
Australian.
Yeah. It's very dark, and I love it, man. But my tastes are weird. I go from John Prine to Johnny Cash to Nick Cave to Metallica. It's
right.
What can I tell you?
I can see that. Yeah. No, I mean I'm just as all over the place. I mean I'm avenged to Luke Bryan.
That's true. That's true.
When you guys did the 6-hour drive down to Jersey to see Metallica, how did you agree on a radio station or on what to play?
So
I will send you a video.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it was streamed when we weren't going in and out of connection on Twitch, the highway. Okay. Yeah. So no, a lot of it is. It's like usually my phone's hooked up to the Bluetooth in the car, and then if it's a long drive, eventually we'll just hand the phone back and forth. And most of my we try not to be jerks to where I love my pop country.
He loves his pop is what he means.
Yeah, give me.
So we'll hand the phone we'll hand the phone back and forth, but first we have to get the NSYNC comedy out of the way and all of that. So there's the obligatory thing that happens. Yeah, we'll listen to music and legitimately enjoy it, but first we have to be funny about it and play the songs that everybody hates but secretly love. You know?
Right, yeah, the guilty pleasure.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's bound to happen every time.
Because that's where a lot of my fun is too. Because for the longest time, I was also a big karaoke goer.
Oh, okay.
And like tearing up my heart by NSYNC is a big karaoke song of mine. When Doves Cry by Prince is a big karaoke one of mine. Yeah. So I mean, I'm 6 foot, 6'1", covered in tattoos. So when I get up there and do NSYNC, or when I get up there and do like the sappy country songs, people are
a little shocked, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like thinking, what's this guy gonna do? And then you belt out, Total Eclipse of the Heart, and they're totally
right.
They're totally blown away.
I could totally do the Dan band version.
Oh, right, there you go. Yes.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you like electronic music, like the heavy, like almost dubsteppy electronic.
Okay.
So Dan Band put a new album out last year, or maybe it was the year before. It's 2015 or 16. But it was called The Wedding Album, and they do another Total Eclipse of the Heart, but it's total remix of The Heart, and it's their version of the song, all electronic and dubstep.
Really? And I totally have to look for that. That's awesome.
They also do a sweary version of what was that Air Supply song? The one Air Supply song everybody knows.
Making Love Out of Nothing at All.
Yeah, not out of nothing at all. Yeah, they do a Dan Burden version of that too. But it's all like, it's all the the lovey-dovey songs, and they are all the Dan Band version, and they're absolutely great. That's the point cool. Where
I got to see them live. They performed
nice.
At one of the Geek Bowl competitions in Albuquerque. So we went down there to compete, took second place, I think, second or third place, but they were the halftime act, and they are just fantastic.
Wow. Nice. Yeah. No, they I mean, it's amazing what they kind of came with, because they started off with what was it? Old School, right? When they did Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Right.
And then they just I mean, that made a career for them.
It totally did. Yeah.
I mean, that's
an entire album of covers of female fronted bands and stuff.
Yeah. Bump and Grind was the other cover I was trying to think of that's on that album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But no, and they're because that's one of my favorite mixes of listening stuff is musical comedy. Like Stephen Lynch, him and I are both huge fans of, and Tim Minchin, who actually I think
Yeah. We talked about him on the show. I think I've played some Tim Minchin covers.
Oh my God, what have
He's
you played?
He's one of those guys that you don't know. Well, Scott and I didn't know by name, and then as soon as we pulled up a picture, I'm like, oh, totally know that guy.
Yeah. So he has a song that he plays.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it's kind of the running joke between me and my friends is that whenever somebody is in my car for the first time,
it has to happen.
I have to play this song.
This is a song about anal sex and God.
Right. So the song, the song is, pardon my language. The song is.
Wait. Pardon your language? This is our fucking show, and we swear on this show.
Okay.
Did we not give that caveat at the beginning?
Was that not made clear?
Fuck right off and don't pardon any language.
All right. Anyway, the song
he's giving me that dad look.
The song is called 10-Foot Cock and a Few Hundred Virgins.
Okay.
And it's absolutely hilarious.
I'll have to look for that when we're done too.
But them and then
that was a lot of build up for not much payoff.
It was The Axis of Awesome is another good one. Yeah.
The four chords guys. Yep.
That one. They've got a song that makes fun of Apple users.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's the iPhone song.
I'll have to listen.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll have to just grit my teeth and listen to that one. There's an a cappella band that I played recently called the Ex-Boyfriends, and they're made for people who hate a cappella bands because the fronts, the lead singer will kind of do a straight ahead version of a song. The backing vocals will be doing what you think initially are the dit 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 and bow bow, all the crap
right
that a cappella bands do. But then you start listening like, wait, they're actually cursing and swearing and stuff in the background of the songs they do, and talking about some really gross things. The big album is called Happy Ending, and that should kind of give you an idea of the style of their music. So they're really cool. Well, worth checking out.
Man, I tell you, to swing it to one of the other shows really quick, That is
let's please.
No,
Yeah, let's swing it right to the left.
that is one of my favorite things about TMS. When Scott says something that he doesn't realize what he's saying.
Right. Yeah.
Like, just because his mind isn't that dirty.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
And it's like, do you not realize what you just said? Man, I got to tell you my most memorable moment of TMS, right?
Sure.
Okay. And I hope... I'm not calling you out at all.
Oh, no, be my
I
guest.
hope you don't get... Okay. It wasn't edited out. So you guys were doing that ridiculously horrible German accent that you do, right?
Yes, right. Yes.
And maybe you remember this as I give you more details, but I don't remember. I remember the details of the climax, but I don't remember the setup. So
all right.
You were both...
That's what she said.
Story of my life. So you guys were doing this bit. You were both talking German, and there was something about like a Jewish business owner or a Jewish homeowner or something.
Okay.
And Scott said something about frustrating or annoying or whatever. Again, I don't remember the actual word, but your punchline was, we had a solution for that.
Yes,
and I was like, holy fuck, I can't believe Brian just said that. Like, because that's...
I remember when that happened.
Yeah.
You told me.
Because that's totally something like... That's something that I would expect Scott to say and not realize the connection.
And not know he's saying
And I was
it.
like, holy shit.
Every once in a while, I don't know. I try and sneak something by him. I try to sneak two in the pink, one in the stink by him.
Yeah, I heard you. I couldn't believe you said that. I heard that. Even when you said it, I was like, is he comfortable saying that? He seems unsure of himself.
It did feel a little bit out of my ballywick, but no, hey, look, I'm 1/32 Jewish, so I feel like maybe I can get away with stuff like that.
Hey, so totally off topic. You guys are talking about
please.
The Witch. And he and I saw The Witch in the theater. I called him after I heard you guys talk about it today while I was working. So I think for Halloween, we'll do that movie. We'll revisit that for our movie podcast.
Oh, cool.
So when we went and saw it in the theater, we hated it. We're not impressed.
No.
Now, me personally, I've revisited it since, and I've come to really enjoy it.
Right.
Nate has not.
No, well, now let me...
Right, am I wrong?
No, I said, have you seen it, Brian?
I have not seen it.
Oh,
No.
You haven't
okay.
seen it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was trying to remember if it was just something Scott had talked about or if it was something on the film
okay.
set.
It was his recommendal.
Yeah,
Was it?
that's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Okay, well, my description of that movie, since we're making dirty innuendos, is essentially a hand job, a bad hand job, right? It's all build up and no payoff.
Okay.
But it's a horror movie, right? So what is
Right.
more terrifying than all build up and no payoff? So really, it works out.
There you go.
That's suspense.
I love how the last after the first half hour, it's like the after dark.
I know. Well, let us remember where we are, right?
No, it's all good. And like Brian said with TMS, it's like, oh man, what was it this week that got me? You had said Cockney. And you emphasized the knee, and I swear to God, Scott's response was, "Yeah, you got to be careful with those cock words."
Right. Exactly. Like in doing the thing that he's warning people not to do, he does it.
He's like, unlike I wasn't just right there. But yeah, no. So TMS, I stumbled across. So it's funny. It's actually because of the Frog Pants influence that I had gotten started podcasting. That
cool.
was kind of what got me. I mean, like you said, you listened to that episode with Scott.
I did. Yeah,
I fanboyed out a lot.
He did.
But
Cool.
because I had an ex-girlfriend and we were both big WoW players, and she's like, "Hey, you should listen to The Instance," and then that turned into everything else, and it turned into May of 2014.
Floodgates.
Yeah, and then May 2014, I talked to two of my buddies, and I'm like, "Hey, we should start a studio." And then 3.5 years later, here him and I are co-owning it, and we do this 4, sometimes 5 nights a week. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. But anyway, yeah, so I got into The Instance, and then I'm a big advocate of brand loyalty in that, like, so all of my computer parts are Asus.
Okay.
All of my mobile stuff is Apple. Like I'm a big brand loyalty type guy. So,
Cool.
and that's kind of that kind of went forward with podcasting.
Carries
So I'm
through
like,
with podcasting.
let's check out Frog Pants and the Frog Pants proper, like, so Frog Pants stuff, Coverville stuff, Diamond Group stuff.
Diamond Group. Yep.
So, and that's kind of where the love of podcasting spread. And obviously more has gotten thrown into that.
Sure.
So, so I discovered TMS, and I'll never forget the first episode I listened to. It was when they were talking about bringing back Gilligan's Island. So this was back in 2014.
Sure.
Or maybe even 2013. But they were talking about bringing back Gilligan's Island. You guys were like trying to pick out, and this was still when you were doing the foodie segment.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I listened to that
We were
episode.
trying to come up with a cast, like come up with who we'd put on.
Yeah, like
Gilligan.
exactly. And I don't remember who picked who, but I just remember I precisely remember where I was. I was coming off 295. I was getting off exit 6 heading in town. And I don't know why that's such a vivid memory, but that's how much of an impact that show had on me the first time I heard it.
That's very cool.
I would still be lost on recasting Gilligan's Island.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
They are.
They really are. I mean, you got to have a few big names in there. You got to have, Michael Cera as Gilligan or somebody like that. Justin
I agree
Long.
with that.
Would you do, is he too old? Would you do like a John Goodman for Skipper?
Oh, he could. Yeah, he'd be a great skipper.
Yeah.
Even Seth Rogen slimmed down. I don't know if he could do Skipper anymore.
I think at that point,
How about Megan Fox as Marianne?
Megan Fox is Marianne.
Great Marianne choice. Yeah.
The girl we just saw in.
I think Christina Hendricks.
No, Hendricks.
As Ginger.
Hendricks? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, but then no one would pay attention to the rest of the movie.
Right. Exactly.
I can't pay attention to this conversation at the thought of it.
How come every time they show Ginger, it's just from the neck up?
What movie?
I was gonna say the redhead from. We just watched Adaptation from Movie Busters. The redhead that was the waitress.
Oh, is that Julianne? Oh, not Julianne Moore.
No, it was Judy
Yeah, I can't remember her name, man. I know who you mean, though.
Castlist right there on the table.
Oh, look at that. Last week's show notes.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I can't remember her name. You tell me.
It was Anna the wait. It was the waitress. The waitress.
The waitress?
Did I not write it down? I didn't write it down.
Judy Greer.
Judy Greer.
Oh, Judy Greer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Judy Greer.
Yeah, she would be a good Marianne.
Yep.
Or a
She
good
would.
Ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got that sweet girl next door kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
She was great in Arrested Development, obviously. She was great. But like if you ever saw Californication.
Yeah, I love that show.
David Duchovny. She's the hooker with a heart of gold, and she's perfectly cast.
You put a good redhead in a movie, man.
Yeah.
I tell you, Christina Hendricks was the only good thing about Bad Santa 2.
Christina Hendricks is the only good thing about life. Outside, you mentioned Californication.
Are you talking like the movie life or life in general?
I don't know. Now that we're talking about redheads, and he said Californication, X-Files, and Scully.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Scully.
Oh yeah, Scully. Sure.
Gillian Anderson is great.
Yeah.
And she's lived in England for a while now, so she kind of has this little bit of a tinge to her accent. It's great.
Yeah. She was great as the therapist in the Hannibal TV show.
Oh really? I thought she was British. Is she not British? Gillian Anderson.
I think she is.
That's a good question.
I think she is. It's just she didn't do it.
I think I heard her on the Nerdist, and I think she had lived here and then lived there. I'm not really sure.
I think it's the same deal. Like when uncultured. When I first saw House, I had no idea Hugh Laurie was British.
You know what I do have though is the internet.
And then when I heard an interview, I was like, "Holy shit!" And then
who's this guy?
Yeah, I went back and then I went back and listened to like a bit of Fry and Laurie with Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry.
And there's your musical comedy connection right there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So see, we're tying it all back together again. But I had something else to say about Gilligan's Island. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I was gonna add. Not that it matters. But as far as Skipper, a big guy with a beard is easy. Do you think it'd be more important to make sure the actor has the chemistry with whoever plays Gilligan?
For sure.
Yeah. Because that was my thought.
Zach Galifianakis or something like that. I mean, you can get
ridiculous.
You can put the bulk on him and stuff like that, but it's got to be somebody who can play off of Gilligan really well.
Yeah.
Gillian Anderson was born in Illinois.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, maybe not then.
Illinois, Scotland, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Illinois, Wales. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
There we go. So TMS has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
So you guys, I mean, you count episodes. I don't think you count years. Do you remember when it started?
It was January 2016. It's either 2011 or 2012. I want to say 2012.
Oh, okay.
I think 2011 was Film Sack, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, because Film Sack predates that. Now, that was the first time kind of doing shows with Scott, right?
Film Sack was, yeah. I was a guest on Extra Life Radio fairly early on. We had a mutual friend in Len Peralta from Jawbone Radio, and he was the one who said, "Oh, you should check out they're doing a little party episode for me on the show called The Instance because my character in WoW just hit level 50." Which is the cap or something like that, or 60.
60, yeah.
That tells you how far back it was.
Oh, wow. That was like, that had to have been pre-08 because Wrath came out in November of 08. Or no,
right. It was Burning Crusade.
Oh, yes. It had been 07. Burning Crusade came out. February of 07, Burning Crusade came out.
Wow.
Right. I remember the big thing they were talking about was the was Encourage.
Yes, AQ40, yeah.
Yeah. So that tells you the time frame that it was. He's like, oh, yeah, you got to check this out.
Were you playing back then?
No, that's the funny thing. I listened to about 6 episodes of The Instance before I finally said, all right, let's see what this is all about. But it's easy to get hooked on a Scott Johnson show because he's super personable and he's not invulnerable and he's not polished. He's very good at communicating with everybody, with the everyman in all of us.
The everyman's podcaster. It's funny because I listened to The Instance before I ever played WoW. I'm way behind on the WoW train.
See, there you go.
So
I
think the Instance after I bought the T-shirt.
Yeah,
that's why I started playing WoW.
Yeah, see, as everyone that any of the regular listeners and anyone knows me, I mean, I've been playing since 04.
Yeah, that's another thing. When I came on this whole bandwagon with him, he was talking about WoW like it was a real place. So obviously I was allured by that.
Well, when you're spending your evenings in Goldshire and looking at the sun setting over Westfall.
Yeah, sure. I understand all that now, but there was a point about a year and a half ago where I was like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Yeah, no, I am cool. When I have my games I love or my properties I love them dearly. Like I don't know if you noticed with the tattoos, I got Resident Evil and Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I just noticed the there you go, the Empire tattoo on the side there. That's cool.
And then I have the Lich King's Frostmourne tattooed on my back.
Cool.
So I am again brand loyalty.
But and that's the thing. When you find a brand that you really like, and whether it's Blizzard or Apple or like just Marvel or whatever, you just tend to say, I trust this. I know it's going to be the quality. It's going to be the quality I want. It's going to have the. I hate to keep using the word vibe, but it's going to have the vibe that you're looking for.
I think that's always the first time you said it.
It's always going to mesh. So totally know what you mean about the brand loyalty.
That's true until they make a movie out of it, and the movie is called Dark Tower.
Yeah. Or Warcraft.
Yeah. Well, no, I like the Warcraft movie, but the Dark Tower, like Scott was saying, that's my favorite series of books, and they rape my childhood. Just
you should have looked at instead of looking at the brand loyalty of Stephen King books, you needed to look at the brand loyalty of Stephen King movies, and then you'd be like, oh, I'll probably stay away from this because they're going to ruin something that I love.
Touche. Although but Maximum Overdrive is my favorite Stephen King movie, so I can't say much.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Oh, remind me when we end this tonight, because I was supposed to play that Coke-driven trailer that Stephen King did for that movie.
Yeah, I do want to see that.
And you never listened to it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I think you guys
the Green Goblin head thing.
No, I think when you guys did it for Film Sack, I think Scott did a clip of the trailer, and he's just wired and on fire, like it's horrible. But yeah, no, the trailer's great. But yeah, no, I'm hoping it's good. I have some friends that went to see it tonight. I know Corey. I think it was Corey in the chat room.
Yeah, he had mentioned it earlier, but I didn't catch if he actually saw it or not yet.
I mean, it does look like it's being done right,
Right. I think it's following the formula of Stranger Things, right? So you have a scary thing in the show, but really it's about the journey of the kids.
Right. It's about the kids' camaraderie and their friendship and stuff, yeah.
I think the saving grace of this movie is that John Boy's not in it.
Or Tim Curry.
Well, I don't know. I like Tim Curry, but John Boy.
Yeah, but this new clown, man. I saw one.
Well, he is a Skarsgård, right?
Yeah.
So anything they touch seems to be gold.
Yeah. And if you take the look of this new clown, right? If you go to Google and Google child costume It clown for the new It, there is. I mean, the backstory behind it. the kid, his older brother's like 17, and the kid's like 8, 9, 10, right? So his older brother dressed him up as the new Pennywise. This kid is like short, ginger, and has a killer smile. And my God, is he fucking scary. Now,
really? Okay.
Now I have my middle child is a little ginger, and he's got a really crazy smile. So I was thinking that would be cool. But also, do you watch Gotham?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so Cameron, I don't remember his last name. Monahan, who plays Jerome or the Joker.
The Joker.
Yeah. My son Xavier's a spitting image of him.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So I'm like, okay, he's gonna do like the Ginger Joker cover at some point.
Oh, see, that looked really good. Yeah, whatever you do then, don't watch Shameless.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that because I just started season 4 of Shameless.
Is he in that?
Yeah.
Is he horrible?
No, he's great. But if you have a certain image of him from Gotham, you probably shouldn't watch Shameless.
Why? What's the
tight gold lame pants making out with other dudes.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
nothing wrong with that.
No,
not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, that's fine. I mean, we were both raised by lesbians, so we're good.
Okay, yeah.
And here we are.
I was thinking more of the gold lame pants.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, at that point, that's one of those things where it's like, no.
Right.
There needs to be some level of decency regardless of your orientation. So, but no, I didn't realize that because I wasn't familiar with anything else. I saw him in that, and man, the face cutting stuff that he did. I mean, he's so good.
Blew my mind. It blew my mind because I'd seen him on Gotham first, and then started watching Shameless, and it really wasn't until a couple seasons in that I'm like, holy crap. That is the guy from Gotham.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what happened to me.
So let me ask you this then. So we have Cameron, who plays Jerome, Joker, who does a really good Joker, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Go back to The Dark Knight. You had Heath Ledger, who did a phenomenal Joker just prior to Brokeback Mountain.
Right. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the parallels are there. Yeah.
Then you have Jared Leto. Now, I think he was a good Joker. I liked the style. Sure. It wasn't popular.
I did too. I like a punk rock Joker.
Just before he was Joker,
Dallas Buyers Club.
Maybe you have to act gay before you can play the Joker.
I think this has got to be, somebody's got to do this up as a meme and put it on put it in Twitter and Facebook and stuff.
2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. I get it. I don't get it at all.
Get it,
no. So that means Jeffrey Tambor is going to be the next Joker.
Oh wait, Corey in the chat room says Jack Nicholson did that movie where he banged Danny DeVito. Did he do a movie where he banged?
Do you fuck my wife?
I think he's just.
You're talking about Raging Bull.
I think he's just fucking with us.
I think is that twins? What are we talking about? Jack Nicholson and Danny. I don't remember those two.
It's so Corey, Captain Temerity. Look, I got it. Temerity, whatever pronunciation at that point. He's there every week. No, he is.
Not straight hours.
He's not straight hours. Good one. Yeah, 2 gay hours. No, he's a regular listener of ours. He is our live encyclopedia.
Well, that's a humdinger, Corey. That was funny.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So no, maybe we're onto something there.
I think so. There's something to that.
Well, there.
I'm gonna make that. As soon as we're done here, I'm gonna make that meme. I'm gonna put it together. You guys, inspired by A Geek Studios.
Are we done here? Because I'm sweaty now.
All right, no, we got. Well, I want to at least talk about. I want to at least talk about Film Sack.
No. All right, talk about it,
Brandon.
I'm ready.
So the last show that we've talked about movies a lot. So it's Film Sack. So we got Film Sack. It's you, Randy Jordan, Brian Dunaway, and then Scott. Which again, that was the first show that brought you with Scott. Brought you into Frog Pants. Man, that is the only podcast that I started listening to after its inception and went back and listened to every episode.
Oh, cool.
You have to. There's in jokes. Like there
totally are.
Like the chick in the
bath. Tell you about the time. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah. There are so many things that will like you'll miss them, and then all the references.
How do you do with the movies? Do you watch everything that we watch, or do you watch a good portion of the things that we watch? Or
okay, so the way I do my podcast, I work at a job where I can have my headphones in my whole 8 hours.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. So if I happen to have seen the movie, cool. Yeah. but
Yeah.
I listen to the show for you guys.
Yeah.
So if depending on like I guess where I will never not listen to an episode because I haven't seen the movie.
Sure.
Like I'll just listen, and then sometimes I'll go and watch the movie.
That's what I was going to ask
yeah.
you is, have we ever inspired you to go back and say, all right, let me check out this Johnny Mnemonic that everybody's talking about?
That I had seen,
excellent film.
But I can promise you with certainty I never would have seen Crawl if it wasn't for you guys.
You mean you wouldn't have gone out and rented Crawl?
No.
Our very first, yeah. Oh yeah, Crawl, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So, you know, again, like Nate, I get to listen to podcasts all day as well. It's too bad that I listen to, I don't know, 60 different shows. Because I've always wanted to listen to Film Sack too, but I have so many shows.
You don't have the time.
Yeah. No,
I've got the time. I just have a lot of
a
shows.
lot of shows. Yeah. No, Film Sack's great. Film Sack is other than the movie show we do, it's the show I pick. No, actually, well, no, and a lot of it, like, because I, again, it was the inspiration of Frog Pants that got me podcasting, right? So I try and emulate in a way that I'm paying respect to the style, but, you know, definitely make my shows my own. Like, for a little while, like, he would give me, well, he would not so much give me crap, but kind of like poke at me a little bit. Like that, my sign off is basically the same as Scott's.
Well, dude, it was Frog Pants Light, man.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Right? Yeah, it's for it's
me,
the whole like
it's
for Brandon, for myself, and for. But again, you hear it every day.
I can't believe that you.
You know,
I can't believe you just
sure.
admitted that.
Why?
Because I never would have thought that you would have admitted that.
I admit that.
That's fucking
amazing.
amazing.
But anyway, but that was my thing with Movie Busters, where I was like, okay, so I listened to Film Sack. It's the only movie podcast I listen to.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, we need to not make it Film Sack.
Do you see me looking at you right now?
You know what?
My respect for you just went. I can't believe that you said that. I got nothing else, man.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking inspiration in the things that you like and making it unique. I'm so not going to bring this back to covers. I promise I won't.
No, by all means.
Come on. I mean, right, come on. It's covers,
you have
right?
To,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like, you're, even if it's not even a visible influence, there's stuff that I'm getting. Okay, I'm gonna reveal something that I'm not going to talk about the actual show, but I do have a show that I'm working on, and it's going to be a reality podcast. Like,
nice.
I mean, a lot of the shows we do are reality. TMS is reality,
right?
But this is actually going to be a reality game show podcast.
That sounds fun.
And my God, is it full of influences from Hell's Kitchen and Survivor and Big Brother and all these other things. So I really got to hurry up and put this thing together because I feel like I've teased so much about it here and on other shows that it's like, if I don't hurry up, somebody else is going to jump on this.
Right. No,
you've given all the ideas on how you have to put the show.
Yeah, I know,
exactly. Now I got to be Brandon.
Verbal trademark.
Before we go any further, I just have to reference the chat room. Can we not reference Whoopi and Ted Danson and Made in America, and just do Whoopi and Jumpin' Jack Flash, please? Just Jumpin' Jack Flash. Maybe Burglar.
Big Burglar, yeah, right.
Not
Don't even
Made
bring
in
up
America.
those Sister Act movies. No, just Jumpin' Jack Flash and Burglar.
What the fuck, Mick? Fuck a duck. We're gonna watch that movie. We're gonna watch that fucking movie too.
Can I just say, so you said fuck a duck. Obviously, you've heard the phrase "fuck a duck."
Of course,
everybody's heard "fuck a duck." Can we just laugh at the funniness that is when you try and type "fuck" on a phone, it autocorrects to "duck"?
Duck a duck.
Like, was it done on purpose?
Had to be.
Like,
Apple is trolling us.
Yeah.
Man, autocorrect fails, man. They're real. I try my most notable one. I say no a lot. Like if people misunderstand me, like NO space NO, my goddamn phone corrects it to Bobby. BOBBI.
What? Really? No. It gets corrected to Bobby?
No NO space NO gets corrected to capital letter BOBBI.
Damn it, Bobby.
not even Bobby with a Y.
No,
Bobby with an I.
It's specifically an I. I don't know why,
That's awesome.
but it makes for some awkward stuff.
Back to the chat room. JF, if I don't even know how to respond.
Brandon,
if Nate's my dad, I don't know. It's a weird familial thing going on.
JF is my grandson?
I don't know how that works, but somehow.
Yeah.
Everybody got sweaty in a room one night, and there was this like 5-hour podcast that I remember.
Oh, with JF, yeah. Oh man,
I don't know what happened, but
if you, yeah, man, I know you've spoken with JF before.
I have, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so amazed with JF. His writing, his I know he was involved in that awesome Warhammer set that I got at Nerdtacular a couple of years ago. The dude is freaking amazing. I'm always, always glad to see him in Nerdtacular. I'm glad to see him in the chat room now.
Yeah,
so.
he's awesome. He has the most accumulated hours for a guest on Mind of a Geek. Yeah,
Really, that's awesome.
Whenever he's got a new thing, I mean, just to hang out because he's a good friend. But whenever he's got a new thing coming out, he comes on here, we pitch, and we talk about his stuff. And yeah, man, those are 4 or 5 hour episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, they are long. But he was the cherry popper for the show. He was guest number 1.
Nice.
So yeah, JF's a good guy.
And things were never the same since.
No, he gives me crap. I give him a lot of credit for this show. Because I'd never done an interview before. I'd never interviewed someone, and I'm like, look, I have this idea. It sounds cool. Will you be my first guest? And like JF and I, like we've played Overwatch together because him and Amy Frost do the Overwatch podcast and things like that. But so I'm like, I sent him my show notes that afternoon, and he always gives me crap when I give him credit for this. And I'm like, do you think we have enough for like 45 minutes? He's like, yeah, we should be good. 3 hours later. And I'm like, man, awesome. I was like, this show took off. And see, he hates when I talk about him. He's in there. He's in the chat now. He's like, I am not here to listen about me. Right. I'm here for the Ibbott.
Right.
I'm here for the Ibbott.
The Ibbott. Yeah. Oh boy.
See, he's bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He doesn't.
He's humble too. That's the best thing about Jeff.
No, he is. He's very humble. So he's a good guy. But anyway, as he said, we're here with you.
Yeah. Look, enough about everybody else. Let's talk about me.
Let's talk about Brian. So I think we covered a lot of the shows, or I think all the shows. But I'm curious because everybody knows your personality that listens to you. I think like we all kind of have what we don't broadcast. But like as far as Coverville Brian, like everyone kind of knows. You get what you get. So, but I'm curious. Kind of beyond everything else, and we can make this as short or as long as you want.
Oh, sure. Sure.
What makes Brian?
Sure. It's funny because I do feel like I put everything out there, whether it's TMS or Coverville. I mean, obviously, music is an important part of my life. Family is an important part of my life. My wife and my son, and then our kind of close group of friends and stuff. What makes me is really just taking things easy, like trying to always find the positive on anything. I do that with Scott all the time. Scott's the perfect foil for that because at least on the show it comes across, he can be like, oh, here's a cake, great, how many rat turds are in it? I mean, it's it'll come to that. I'm like, no, but the frosting is great, the chocolate frosting. So it's that is the aspect of me that that I think is the essence, the thing that, number one, I try and get through in all my podcasts. Even if I play something that I'm not the biggest fan of, I'll say, all right, so that version of such and such was pretty close, but it's that instrumental bit in the middle that kind of breaks it up for me. And and it's the stuff on TMS and the stuff in FilmSack. Even talking about a movie I walked out of, Johnny Mnemonic, finding something good to talk about it. And it's not even a matter of, all right, how can I put a positive spin on this? It's that, for me, it's just the way I look at things, So, no more Nerdtacular. That's all right. We're going to find a really cool way to do the stuff we did in Nerdtacular somewhere else in some other way. It's always looking at the daylight, the half full part of the glass as opposed to the half empty one. I think that's what kind of is the me that I try to get across in the shows I do.
Cool. I like that.
But I'll still curse like a sailor. And boy,
well, fuck it. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Something goes wrong, man. The F-bomb is probably the first thing that comes out of my mouth.
Right. Oh no. So I talked briefly about the tattoos and my brand loyalty. When it comes to stand-up comedy, my brand loyalty was George Carlin.
Love George
Yeah,
Carlin.
I got You Are All Diseased as a Christmas present when I was like 11 or 12, and because mommy loves me. And
The parents always figure out some way to screw us up, don't
oh
they?
yeah. So, oh no. Well, what's funny because my mom has a love-hate relationship with my tattoos.
Yeah.
As I think most parents that
Most
aren't
parents would,
tattooed
yeah.
do, yeah. But I always blame her for the one on the back of my calf because the one on the back of my calf says George Carlin, R.I.P. And then underneath it, it says shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
Nice. Oh my God. When I was a kid, I memorized that whole album.
The Class Clown?
Class Clown.
Yeah.
Bought it on CD. I had it on vinyl, still probably do somewhere, but I had to buy it on CD and even memorize the that stuff that he does on there and the previous albums with Wonderful Wino Radio. George Carlin was, as far as comedians go, man, he was my favorite. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think if you're the right kind of person, it's part of a rite of passage for you. I mean,
Right.
in this day and age, for us, like you and I both, it was Carlin. But everybody goes through that Nirvana, like the grunge phase, right?
Right.
The Carlin phase, all those things. Because I know you and I both in high school, we were social Carlinists.
Oh, yeah.
Even still, like
Yeah.
it's.
I mean, I maybe put a little too much. I mean, the whole like not trusting the government, the whole like.
All of that.
Ixnay on religion, yeah, like a lot of that influence came from Carlin.
Yeah, he was a punk. He was punk before there was punk, right? I mean, he was against the system before we knew we could be against the system.
I tell you, like I mean, he was old and he wasn't all that healthy anyway, and it sucked to lose him when we did. Yeah. But I tell you, man, as a Carlin fan, if anything, just to hear what he would have to say about today, I would love more.
It's like I've said this previously on a show. I think that's why we're where we're at, because we don't have Carlin anymore to temper us.
Yeah.
So we're fucked.
Didn't it feel for a little while like Dennis Miller was going to be our new Carlin? Just for like this brief moment, and then he just completely, I don't know, pussied out or felt too scared to kind of go that direction.
I thought that there were a lot of people that tried to take that throne, and just nobody quite measures up. Something happens along the way.
I think the closest parallel. I mean, we have two.
You have Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, Jim Jeffries and Louis C.K.
Yeah,
and Jim Jeffries goes with like the straight political stuff, and Louis C.K. does the real stuff. And I think if you kind of have a mesh of those two, you've got your modern Carlin.
You almost got the new.
But nobody.
Like, it could never be a new Carlin. But
no,
I mean,
nobody melded it.
Closest
and man, we lost so many greats so close together when it came to comedy. And then Robin Williams only a few years ago, and that was another one. I mean,
Kinnison.
And but man, Williams, what was it? The Weapons of Self-Destruction, the very and like how telling is that title? Now, totally. After the fact, you know what I mean?
Exactly, and way before its time. Yeah.
And then man, comedy. I think I put too much weight into it, but it makes you laugh, man. Have you ever listened to Anthony Jeselnik?
No, huh?
Okay. Man,
the name's familiar.
Yeah, so he is the crudest motherfucker.
Well, he has a knack for like rope-a-dope comedy. He takes it, it's a left and a left, and then it's a right when you think it's going to be another right.
But he's on his third album, which is called Thoughts and Prayers.
I'm writing this down because I want to make sure.
Don't ask how to spell his last name.
Oh,
It's Jeselnik.
I'm sure whatever misspelling I could come up with, YouTubers have probably made that same misspelling.
Yeah, probably. But also, if you have Netflix, which I know you do because of Film Sack, Thoughts and Prayers was a Netflix exclusive stand-up, so you can get it on Apple Music. What?
JF comedy. It makes you laugh, man. Hot take, Nate. Hot take.
Wow. Thanks, JF.
That is gold. Gold, Jerry. Gold.
Gold. Jeselnik stuff is
cool.
You don't want to listen to it around the wrong people.
Yeah, right.
Cool. So the Thoughts and Prayers one that's on Netflix, it opens up with a Clapton joke about Clapton's son. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But but let me tell you though, it's not tasteless in a way. Sure. Like it can be.
It's not done as like shock comedy. It's done.
It's done for the shock factor. Now the thing with Jeselnik is he's very much like you have to see his face, and he very very clearly.
Well, he's just from what we listened to in the car earlier. He's got a deadpan delivery.
Oh yeah.
I hit a deer. My dear, dear friend.
Yeah,
Like,
and like he said, it's the rope-a-dope. It's pull you in. But yeah, no. Again, you like comedy, listen to Jesselnick.
I'll check him out for sure.
I'm curious to hear what you think about it. But yeah, I mean, I think we're probably pretty good to kind of wrap up here. It won't take up too much more of your Friday evening because it's still early for you because you're at what, 8:45, right?
It's 8:45,
Yeah.
so way earlier here than it is for you guys.
Yeah, we're at
so,
11:15. So.
Oh wow! Yeah, 12
Which
hours. I got to
is
record
early
film
for
sack
us.
with the boys.
Oh, fun. What?
So I got to drink heavily between now and then, and
Nice. What's the movie between or for next tomorrow?
Deep Blue Sea.
Nice.
Oh,
Yes.
Nice.
So
Well,
you got your Samuel Jackson, you got your LL Cool J, you got your Thomas Jane, the Punisher.
Yeah.
Thing.
I'm wondering how many times Scott will call it Deep Impact.
right. So that should be a great inaugural show for me to listen to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know what? I actually typed this. We have a Slack channel that it's just the four of us, and I put in there. Deep Blue Sea is the perfect film sack movie. There, I said it, and I typed that in there at 7:16 a.m. today because I agree. I mean, this is like, I mean that wholeheartedly. You look at this movie, and it's got everything you want. It's got big name actors. It's got a cheesy premise. It's got subpar special effects, and it's, it's perfect. It's got everything you need. So, Brandon, this is the one you got to watch first, and then listen to our episode of Film Sack.
I'll check it out.
Have you seen it?
I've seen the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
will listen to the show though.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
First thing Monday morning at 2.
There you go.
Will it be
yeah.
out?
Yeah, because Scott usually has them up Sunday, right?
Should be out.
He'll have
right?
it up Sunday.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to
great.
think of my. Because we can talk about it because we didn't talk about film sack much. I love movies. I'm trying to think of my favorite episode. Man, that's hard. I see. It's with film sack. It's not so much episodes as much as it is moments.
Yes.
Like my fucking God, Minority Report in the rain and the water.
What is the symbolism and what
Yeah.
it means? Yeah.
All I could think of was I assume you've seen Boondock Saints, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Boondock
And
Saints.
before
I saw Walking Dead, I saw Boondock Saints.
right, yeah.
Boondock
so
Saints. Let's talk about Bob Marley and how I used to work at a hardware store, and he would come in and try his material out on us.
Marley's awesome. But where I was going with that was the word symbolism, and all I could ever think of is Willem
Symbology.
Dafoe going symbolism.
I'll be taking a bagel with my coffee.
You guys haven't done that, right?
No Boondock Saints. Surprising. I want to do the sequel.
Have you seen the sequel?
I haven't seen the
It's
sequel.
not as
and
good as the first one.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I
Yeah.
think it might be the way to do it. But
Yeah.
but I guess if none of the other guys have seen Boondock Saints, I'd be surprised if at least if Scott and Randy hadn't seen Boondock Saints. Actually, I'd be surprised if Dunaway hadn't seen it either.
See, I
But
was
if they
going to
hadn't
say
seen that, then we wouldn't jump into the sequel.
I was going to
without
say
doing that.
I don't think I'd be surprised with Scott. I think I'd be surprised if Randy and Brian hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
But I'm
yeah.
wondering if that because it's very
maybe.
it blew up, but it was initially very indie.
Yeah.
Super cult. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's the definition of a cult film with
Yeah,
people total word of mouth saying, "Oh, you've got to see Boondock Saints."
I think the director's band was the one that did the music for that movie.
Oh, was it?
really?
Yeah. But man, there are so many gems about that first one, like the guy that messes up all the sayings in the bar. Why don't you make like a tree and get the fuck out of here?
Right. It's like Biff from Back to the Future.
Right. Yeah.
Just getting it wrong. Yeah, that's that would be a good one for Film Sack. And I wonder if hearing that the sequel isn't as good, maybe that would be even better. But
The
Yeah.
sequel's not as good, but it has Rita from Dexter in it, which
oh,
I think
nice.
makes up
good.
for
What's
that.
what's her face
She-
from? Yeah. She's been in a few things.
She was in Buffy, right?
Buffy. That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
I can't think of her name for the life of me right now, but yeah, Julie Benz. There
Julie
is
Benz.
Corey
There
with
is.
it.
Yeah, Julie Benz.
Thank you, Corey.
Apparently, we have to read Corey's brilliant comment. Corey says, all films have Bill Paxton. When you see only one actor's footprints on the screen, that's when he carried them. Did I miss a conversational point that had to do with?
We're fucked, man.
Yeah, they were
Game
talking
over,
about how
man.
Deep Blue Sea didn't have Bill Paxton, but it should have.
I
Oh,
think
okay.
all
That's
movies
right.
should
Okay.
have that scene from Twister where Bill Paxton is standing in the wind watching the sand go.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Alien should have that.
Such a good movie.
Terminator should have
Twister.
that.
Yeah.
Twister was so good. That's one we should do too. No,
Game
but
over,
yeah.
man.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking. So yeah. So that was a moment. Man, there's so many Death Race was a great episode.
Was this the show you talked about earlier that had continuity in jokes?
It is, yeah, where we kind of reference a few older things, but not as much. I mean, if you know basics, like we use a term called "chick in a bucket," and what that means is it's to describe a thing in a film that's introduced and kind of brushed aside with the hopes that the audience won't see that it's missing. And the big thing is the name comes from Wild Wild West with Will Smith. When you're introduced to his character, he's inside a water tower with a beautiful woman. They're about to get it on or something, and then something knocks down the water tower. It comes falling over, jumps out, and dumps Will Smith out. And basically we sat there talking about, well, what happened to the chick in the bucket? Like, where did she go? How did she disappear? And where,
she was just gone.
She didn't have any clothes, and her clothes are lost and gone somewhere else. And how come that thing wasn't paid off? And so that's been a term that's come up in film psych. Whenever there's something introduced and not paid off or not answered, but just kind of maybe we're not going to talk about that thing because it would take too much to, for the filmmakers to actually explain what happened to that.
I like it. Wild Wild West is a movie that I can never watch because of A Night with Kevin Smith and his story about that. If either of you have never seen that, it was like the original script for Superman, I think.
Okay.
And he and a producer were writing it, and the guy just totally took it over, and that movie later on became Wild Wild West.
Seriously,
it was like
really? Oh my God. Okay.
But,
Wow, that would piss me off too.
Yeah. The giant spider. Corey knows what
the giant spider
about.
Was a thing that they were going to use for Kevin Smith's Superman movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Kevin Smith would have killed with the Superman movie.
You think so?
Great. I think so.
You don't think so?
He's respectful of the material.
If you read any of his Batman 66 stuff.
Okay, yeah. No, that's true.
His Green Arrow stuff, his Batman 66 stuff is really good. The widening gyre is excellent.
Right.
Even his episodes of like The Flash and I don't know if he's ever done Arrow, but I know he's done The Flash.
He's done Supergirl a lot.
Supergirl, right. They're very honest for the character. Like they're it's not fan service, but it's also not somebody who's like, we're going to give her this power just because it kind of works out for this plot line. It's like, all right, here's somebody who respects the source material.
See, it's funny that you use that example because that right there is why I don't like Superman. Because it seems like...
Do you think Superman is too Deus
Ex
Machina? Because he's
introducing new powers and he's kind of OP. Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
Sure.
It's like, what can he do? Like, so, and I don't know if this is true. Maybe one of you can tell me. Somebody had said that Superman, like the reason that, like, for example, the reason he's bulletproof is because one of the original creators, I guess, had a family member or a friend who was shot. So, like, that was a personal turmoil solution to, like, make the character bulletproof. Like, that was a power that was added on. I don't know if there's truth to that. That's just what I heard.
No,
but it seemed like...
One of his parents was an X-ray tech, and so they had to give him X-ray vision. And
his mother was Madame Curie.
No, right, but exactly. But no, he always seemed like the easy. See,
he is the Deus Ex Machina of superheroes.
He is. He totally is. Yeah.
I say the most powerful superhero is Batman. That's my thought.
We're talking DC.
Well, okay, then Batman, Iron Man.
Marvel, it's going to be the Mimic. Not a very popular hero. Not even a hero necessarily, but he can achieve anything he can imagine. So how is he not the most powerful?
Okay, then maybe
the guy who was Professor Xavier for a while, right? Like he took over. Yeah, okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe it would be a stalemate then. Let me give you my quick rationale, if neither of you mind. Right?
Sure. No, not at all. Please.
So we're gonna write. We're writing in the comic book world, right? So we are under the assumption that all of these powers, all of these things, all of these otherworldly things are possible. Right. So if it is possible for an organic being, and when I say organic, I like even an alien from another planet who naturally has those powers, he still organically obtained them. Right. Sure. So the powers in some way to their host are organic. Okay. Batman doesn't have superpowers. Batman has money.
Right.
So based off of the comics, virtually limitless money. He also has an R&D science team. Right, which you have to assume have the world's top scientists.
Top men.
Maybe even top men. He's got top men on it. It's going to be huge.
Or he's got a
But anyway, and I think you probably,
One guy, but
based off of your nodding and your smile, I think you kind of know where I'm going.
I kind of know where you're
But
going.
if it's organic and it exists in the universe, it has to be some way discoverable and counterable, which means
Right.
given enough time and enough research, no matter what superpower you throw at him, he would be able to counter it and then go against it. So,
But I think it's a lot easier to counter money. Like, all right, you cut off Bruce Wayne's access to an ATM, and all of a sudden he's powerless. You change his PIN number. But no, I mean, I think you separate the thing with Iron Man and Batman is you separate them from their tech, and they are just men.
right.
They're, you know, higher agility from their training and that sort of thing. And that's been shown in comics and stuff that he can handle himself even without his tech. But all a supervillain really has to do is just separate him from his tech. Whereas you can't separate, sadly, you can't separate Superman from his powers. I feel like they basically said, oh, crud, we've given this guy too many powers. We need to give some easy way to stop him. And that's when they came up with kryptonite.
Right.
But most powerful superhero. I mean, I feel like you know, a shapeshifter who can take on the powers of somebody else is probably going to do it, because all they have to do is just shapeshift into the most powerful superhero there is.
Right.
And they can do that. Legion, probably, you know, a great show, great TV show, by the way. Also a great comic book and a really well-developed character. One that has a built-in vulnerability of his being schizophrenic.
Right.
Kind of like the best superheroes are. Iron Man's alcoholic, Bruce Wayne's kind of a narcissist, or I don't know what is the failing of the week. He's just dark and he's he's vengeful. What is the Martha is his weakness?
No, it may sound like a I mean, I think his weakness are his rules.
Yeah.
You know,
his own rules, his own don't kill.
Like, right. What was it in, it was actually going back to the Dark Knight. It was in the Dark Knight when he had Falcone or Marconi on the ground.
Right.
And he was like, no one's going to turn him in to you. He's like, because we're not afraid of you. Like, you have rules. This guy has no rules.
He doesn't have rules. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's Batman's limitation.
Was this a long way around to the Joker that I missed?
No. We were talking about weaknesses, and I said I think Batman's weakness are his rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about what the vulnerabilities of all the characters are. I mean, obviously Superman is kryptonite. Iron Man is his alcoholism.
Right.
Spider-Man is his desire to protect the ones he loves and balance a superhero life with his responsibility of a teenager life. And I think that's how you take an overpowered and the most powerful superhero and bring him down to a relatable level. Is
how do we humanize this guy? Give him a beer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right, exactly.
Corey says Superman has to be scissors because a rock hurts him.
Perfect. There we go. Exactly. Oh, there we go. Wonder Woman was clay, rock. Batman has his money paper, so Superman has to be scissors. There we go.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice the three part there. Yeah.
The whole,
yeah. No, rock paper. There you go. There's our Justice League.
Right. Oh, Dr. Manhattan. There you go. That might be the most powerful superhero. Is Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen. So powerful, does not need underwear
or a cup. No.
Or a cup, exactly.
See, now I guess I have to claim a little bit of ignorance because I've read minimal comics. A lot of my knowledge comes from the movies and the video games.
Could you be secure and just have a deadpan delivery with your thing swinging in the wind like that?
No, I'm not that comfortable.
If you could be omniscient and just, Dr. Manhattan, but blue and freeballing it, I don't know.
His vulnerability is blue.
I guess that was the basis for Bran Stark's character. Like the way that kid that plays that character plays him is based on Dr. Manhattan.
Really?
Really?
Supposedly.
Oh wow.
Supposedly. Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Actually, knowing that, that's telling.
Is it fitting?
Quite,
I don't.
Quite.
I've only seen the first season and a half of Game of Thrones,
which is crazy to me considering you're a fantasy guy. Like if we were to go down that road of sci-fi versus fantasy, you would say fantasy,
right?
Well,
I would, but that's not. like traditional fantasy.
Well, that is true in the first half of the series of seasons. It's different from
I mean, now that they teleport
fantasy.
from like Westeros to like
They do now, but now the
they
show
they figured out teleportation.
what did you guys say? Like they have a wizard or mage from WoW?
Yeah.
They do, yes, exactly. LF portal to Red Keep.
Yeah.
But see, that's true though. Like now
gold.
that they've surpassed the books, I would say that Game of Thrones has become generic fantasy. But earlier, before they had gone beyond the books, it was fantasy without all of the tropes. You know?
Well, it was
Right.
like it was
more of
like
a political.
right,
yeah.
right.
Like in the same way that like so I always give the Nolan movies credit for saying that would be Batman if it was in the real world.
Yeah.
Because everything theoretically that happened in those movies could happen in the real world. Like that's why I like the fact that we got like psychopath serial killer Joker as opposed to like the clown prince of crime, because it was grounded to a point.
Right.
I think Game of Thrones would be Lord of the Rings in the real world, because you didn't have spell casting. You didn't have all of the over the top things that make your Dungeons and Dragons campaigns there.
And the
stuff
easy
like
way
that.
out, right? I mean, is the spell casting, like,
Right.
all right, well, we have an easy solution. Poof, here's a
Right.
here's a solution. There's a reason that those Nolan movies, especially Dark Knight, are so. We had a trivia question the other night. The 4 highest rated movies, superhero movies on Rotten Tomatoes, 3 of which came out in 2017. The 4th is The Dark Knight. And it just goes to show you that that's everlasting. You'll get great stuff like Wonder Woman and Spider-Man Homecoming and Logan, but The Dark Knight is so well done.
Right.
So connected to our real world with these little tendrils of reality that
I remember hearing that, and that really sets the bar for all the other superhero movies. I mean,
it really does.
It did.
It's amazing considering what's come out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like, I mean, yeah, it was dark and it was gray, but man, wouldn't it have been nice to see Nolan stick around and have the Batman from that Nolan trilogy be the Batman that we get? Because I mean, I know they went brighter in Wonder Woman because they had to, because of their criticism. Mm-hmm. But as dark as the DC movies have kind of been, it would have fit perfect.
Totally.
Like if you're gonna try and copy the Nolan Batman, like get rid of the voice maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as much as I love that, I don't think I could take more Christian Bale growling.
Yeah,
Alfred, get me a lozenge.
It's not only that though. Like you could have Christian Bale's Batman there, but you would have to change the script and the structure of the movie. You can't have them ceasing their fight based on the names of their mother, Martha.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, but that's a whole other Deus Ex Machina.
If Nolan, yeah, exactly. If Nolan had control of that, you wouldn't have gotten that.
No, I think if now obviously there's probably other reasons, whether it be political or not political like politics, but like political within the company.
Sure.
Where maybe Nolan didn't want to do it because Nolan wasn't even a sequel guy,
right?
No, and they got him to do a trilogy.
There was no Memento 2.
Right. So, man. Can I just say, so, okay, I loved Memento, okay? And we've all seen it. We're all familiar with it. Do we all have at least a positive thought of it, right?
100%. I love that movie. I'd call it one of my 10 favorite movies.
Do you have any contention with the fact that it's about a guy who remembers that he forgets?
Well, yeah. No, I mean, it's funny because that is the underlying thing. He's got his base members. He remembers how to drive a car. He remembers, where the tattoo shop is that he keeps going to, but he just can't make any new memories. So, yeah, it seems like that would be the fundamental one, is that the first memory that you can't make is the one that tells you can't make memories.
Right. So,
yeah,
I have this bad little habit of mine where I finish off my night with a bowl of cereal, and I always read one of the cracked like photoplasty things.
Oh yeah. Sure.
And that was one of them. It says Memento, a movie about a guy who remembers that he can't remembers that he or forgets whatever I said.
Remembers that he can't make. Yeah,
I remembered it. I said it right the first time, but yeah, and I was like, man, that blows my mind.
It kind of does. Yeah, yeah. It's that Sammy Jenkins
Yeah.
thing on his thumb that just
Yeah.
reminds him.
But but as I say, back to Nolan really quick. I think one of the other reasons that they might have done the reset is because they wouldn't have been able to recast Joker.
Yeah,
You had to give a new universe, otherwise, like if you had Nolan as Batman.
Well, they weren't going to be done with him anyway had he not died, right?
Well, no, because now again, I don't know.
But that last movie would have still been based around the Joker, yeah.
Well, from what I had heard, at the very least, the role that Scarecrow played in The Dark Knight Rises, that was supposed to be Joker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, again, that's just what I had read. But that almost kind of makes sense as to why Scarecrow is nowhere else in that movie but there.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's like
Just
he
in
was
that
written
beginning little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
That movie. To stick with that for a bit, that movie really dropped the ball for me when they made Bane a henchman, because it would have been so much better with him being like they just made him a dog.
The ending twist.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Right.
Especially because you saw it from a mile away.
Yeah, but like we were saying earlier, you have to humanize everybody so everybody has a weakness. You love the girl.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree
Could
with
you
you.
imagine-
Yeah.
But
Christopher Nolan probably could not have done a believable Penguin character.
no.
You know, I mean, you've got it. Once you start going into the further, like a Riddler, all right, sure, I could probably get behind a Christopher Nolan Riddler.
There were so many Riddler rumors when Ledger passed away.
Yeah.
Before we got
really?
confirmation that it was Bane, there were so many and one of the ones that seemed to carry the most weight at the time was Johnny Depp as Riddler. Now,
Would have been good. He
now
could have
we're
pulled
not.
it off,
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
like not now Johnny Depp, but like remember
Right.
this was like 0809.
Right.
Like
I don't know if you could have had Johnny Depp in a Nolan movie though. That's I don't know. Not after Pirates and all of that. That's too much overacting or underacting.
Maybe.
Or lackadaisical
he
acting.
can do subtle. He can.
He can definitely. There's
yeah,
no,
but,
I don't
but
disagree.
Riddler needs to be overacted.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if
true.
Depp would have been my choice. As for Penguin, I think that with the advent of Daredevil and Kingpin, had you seen that, had Nolan seen that, he would have been able to pull off Penguin after seeing
For
Kingpin.
sure. There you go. Yeah, and that's how we do it. And probably would have been DiCaprio, right? Would have been our likely Penguin.
What do you think of DiCaprio potentially being the Joker now? Have you heard that?
No, haven't heard that.
That's apparently the rumor is that he's cast as the next Joker, unless
Interesting. Because it's not Nolan doing the Batman film, is it? Who's
the next Batman film, the one that Ben Affleck is now not a part of.
right.
I don't know.
Oh, really? See, I guess
supposedly
I'm
he's
really
not
behind on
connected.
this stuff.
I guess we'll see if the chat room corrects me, but as far as I know, he's not connected to that movie anymore. So I don't know who is going to
Scorsese.
be.
That's what I was trying to remember.
Is that what it
is? Scorsese. Yeah. Because Scorsese works with DiCaprio about as much as Nolan does.
That's true.
They
That's
both
true.
kind of lean on him. So
It's funny
really,
how DiCaprio has kind of taken Jack Nicholson's place there.
yeah, right.
He's kind of aging into Jack Nicholson. It's weird.
Maybe, yeah. Which is all right. I like him. I think he was one of those guys that kind of got. He could have easily gotten pigeonholed for Titanic and
DiCaprio, yeah.
yeah, and the teeny bopper stuff that he had done before that. But I think getting involved with Baz Luhrmann and doing that Romeo and Juliet film gave him enough indie cred that he could kind of escape that pretty boy kind of thing.
My favorite movie he was in was The Beach.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But Robert Carlyle is also in that movie, and that is my favorite actor.
Robert Carlyle. Okay, I gotta look up who he is.
He was in what did they just make? Trainspotting. He's in Trainspotting. He plays Rumpel in Once Upon a Time. Is that what that's called?
Oh yeah,
I've never watched
it.
28 Days
that guy.
Later.
Yeah, him.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, I like him a lot.
Formula 51, the movie he did with Sam Jackson and Meatloaf, another one of my
Right.
favorite movies. Yeah,
That's
Robert
right,
Carlyle
he
was
was
great.
Bigby in Trainspotting, wasn't he?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, love him. He's great.
Oh yeah, I recognize him. I love how you brought up Joker as I made my quick run. I'm like, that's my favorite villain.
I thought you were already
So would you
covering
say-
that.
So brand loyalty, would you say you're more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy?
No,
Oh really? Okay.
I am a Batverse guy, and
Okay.
then I'm a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even with Batverse, like it's the villains, and and really
Sure.
it's Joker.
the
I mean,
rogues
like
gallery, yeah,
again,
right.
wearing the tattoos.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Classic Joker right
Well-
there.
but
Nice.
that was there was the classic Joker with a zombie touch.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've got
Cool.
Zombie Joker there, and up on the arm here, I've got Zombie Batman. So,
Nice.
because Marvel did their zombie run,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Marvel
DC
Zombies,
never.
Sure.
Yeah, DC never did. So as
didn't.
this sleeve gets pieced together, it's going to be Batman and then the villains all zombified.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So like a Riddler, Penguin.
Right. The
Nice.
and the hang up is Two-Face, because how do you zombie Two-Face without it just being
He
Two-Face?
could, basically becomes One Face
Yeah,
when
he'd
you
be-
zombify him, right?
It'd be One-Face, yeah.
You make Two-Face patient 0, and then you're good.
Oh yeah.
So what about you, Brian? Are you a Marvel or DC guy?
I'm definitely a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the other side of the basement here, where it's out of shot, is a complete collection of the lead Eagle Moss figures. Here, actually, I do have one of them over here, which is funny because these are characters I don't really care about, but Vance Astro,
Oh,
for whatever reason, hasn't made it into the case. But you know, he's kind of like
Nice.
a
See that's
Captain America looking dude.
that's what I was telling you about. Like, I don't know if it was you or not. I think it was you. Original Guardians, man. Vance Astro. He's
Right,
in a
yes.
he's in a suit outside of time with Cap's shield.
yeah.
Like the suit. How does that work? The suit like encapsulates him in a certain point in time. Is that right?
Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well.
think so. I will admit that I don't know much more
Obviously,
about
I'm a
Vance
Marvel
Astro.
guy.
Yeah. I think
Outside of Constantine, I'm a Marvel guy. I love Constantine, but
I think
really? Cool.
from the grand spectrum, I think Marvel has better heroes and DC has better villains, because your brightness works for the heroes. I mean, yeah, when you get into their backstories, like, again, Stark's a drunk, things like that, whatever.
Yeah.
But when it comes to what they surface, they're definitely brighter and more colorful.
Oh, totally.
But
Well, it's
DC,
they do, to kind of piggyback on that, Marvel does a better job of making their heroes vulnerable
Right.
without it being a Deus Ex Machina like Kryptonite.
yeah, exactly.
well, it just seems like Marvel has put more thought into creating a more fleshed out character for their heroes.
yeah.
I mean, even in their names, like their names are more thought out and better than DC's.
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
look at Wolverine and what's become of Wolverine over the years. Like he has a whole life, and I'm not saying that Batman or Superman don't, but their names are Batman and Superman.
Yeah, but so is Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Tony Stark, Peter
that's
Parker.
That's true, yeah.
That's not saying you don't have Bruce Wayne and Clark.
But
Kent,
I don't even know.
but-
I wouldn't even put Clark on the same thing because, yeah.
Right, but if you
Right.
look at Wolverine, Logan, like he has, I mean, there's so much going
Yeah.
on there.
So
No, I
much
can
background.
see
They
that.
fleshed out the character really early
Yeah.
on. Cockrum and Claremont did in
Yeah.
those early issues. Yeah, for sure.
But I think, no, I think DC definitely does better with the villains, or at least better for my taste because they go darker. Like, I don't think Marvel has a sociopath serial killer, do they?
Punisher.
Like, do they have? Well, no, but but they don't have.
If you read any of the Max stuff, you'll get your adult
well, yeah,
version.
but I mean, you have your like as far as your,
Bullseye's a great example.
yeah, no, that's true.
You
I guess they just don't have like he's not like one of like the on.
you don't have anybody at the
Right.
forefront. That's
yeah,
like
not the way
Right.
Joker
I mean, Doctor
is.
Doom isn't that thing. You do have a lot of villains in Marvel whose main goal is to rule the world. Doc
Yeah.
Ock, Doctor Doom,
Right.
a lot of those. And so you might have something with the DC does better villains, Marvel does better heroes.
I think
Yeah.
the best thing that Doc Ock has ever done is embody Peter Parker. The
Oh, that whole superior
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man
Yeah,
thing was
so
great. Yeah.
So good.
Could have been
You should read
really dorky, especially after that whole One More Day thing. With,
Right.
Erasing all the last history of
Yeah.
Spider-Man. But no, Superior Spider-Man was great.
Now, see, that was a short. That was like a story within a story, right? And it was a small collection. Yeah. See, so like I've got my iPads. Like I've always wanted to get into comics. I tried to get into Batman with the New 52. Okay, and actually, I had this conversation to give him a slight shout out with Corey in the chat. So on their show, Else Nerds, we had a comic book discussion, and I've always said that it's so hard for a new reader to get into it because the storylines are so. But I like the ones, like the one that comes to mind for Batman. One of you might know it. I don't know what it's called, but it was Batman in time essentially, and Bruce Wayne traveled through time, and it was like a 5 or 6 series run. I bet Corey in the chat knows what it was.
Is it the one where you had the more of the night style costume?
Well, he had a different costume for the time period. Like there was Caveman Batman, and his utility belt was based around caveman tools.
Right.
And then you had like steampunk Batman and Victorian era Batman, and it was I want to say it was one. I want to say it was one issue per time period.
Okay.
And it always looked so interesting. I think it was only like a 5 or 6 series run, and in all reality, I don't think it did that good. But it just looked really interesting to me, and it's a short. It's a start and a finish point that's really easy to pick up and read.
Sure. I'll have to look for that. That's cool.
They had a Batman Ninja Turtles crossover last year. I still want to read it.
Did they?
I haven't read it yet. I have it, but I haven't read it.
That would be cool.
Behind the Ninja Turtles.
No,
whoa, wait.
Yeah.
I know.
What was that?
You
can't get behind the Ninja Turtles?
Well, not just that, but it's
they came out the same year I did, man.
and not just that, but it's
and I have that I have that original comic that was very Frank Miller and Daredevil, and I loved it. And then when it started getting,
I don't disagree.
Right.
The initial Ninja Turtles and the 1990 movie were great.
Yeah.
But after that, like I've been reading current Ninja Turtles where they kill off Donatello and shit. No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Spoiler.
wait, they killed.
I heard about that. Really? How do you do that?
Oh, he's not really dead. Come on.
Yeah, it's like killing off Superman.
But I think that was like issue 45. I'm sure they're well past that now. But even still, like, you know, when a mutant cat comes after them and he's like a gangster with one eye.
Their sensei is a mutant rat.
I know
it's
it, but
not
that's
like it's that far off.
It's not the same, man.
No, it's not. Yeah, no. For us turtles, because I don't know if it was the creator or the co-creator, but he was from the next town over from us.
Eastman,
Kevin Eastman.
Yeah,
Eastman.
he's
from Westbrook.
Westbrook, Maine. Yeah, and we live in Portland, so he's like the next town over from us. Yeah, so it was a local thing too. And
cool. Well, not for me at the time. But
well, no, but Maine local, yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, I loved the Turtles growing up, and I mean, I don't hate the Michael Bay movies.
I do. I can't stress enough. It's kind of like the Dark Tower for me, raping my childhood.
Yeah.
Why do all the Ninja Turtles look like Shrek? It's not a fucking Transformers movie. What the fuck is going on? I hate those fucking movies.
I apparently struck a nerve.
Yeah, I hate those movies so much.
I know. I don't subscribe to the whole like. Okay, so Ghostbusters is another.
Okay,
good
this
one,
goes
right?
back to what you said about brand loyalty, right? You can't reimagine the Ninja Turtles and give them nostrils. It's just not right. You can't do it.
Right.
You're killing me. Not you, Michael Bay. He's killing me.
They wanted to smell what The Rock was cooking.
Jesus
Christ.
There you
go.
All those years of watching the WWE. And
can you smell what's going on underneath Bleecker Street?
But no, like I don't really subscribe to the whole like. And I think you guys have talked about this in Film Sack. I'm sure you've even talked about it on TMS when you're talking about movies. Like the original's still there. Like I see people look at it like I've seen World of Warcraft used as a parallel, right?
Sure.
The difference being is when they patch something, you don't have access to, like, I can't go play vanilla. Right.
Yeah, you can never go back to the Barrens that isn't torn up by.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so
cataclysm.
you screwed over my WoW hood, but whatever. But like
you ruined my WoW hood.
Yeah, but my WoW hood. You fucked up my hood, dude. But like the original Ghostbusters movies are still there. Like, why is it so? Like, why does everyone?
It doesn't. People get that impression that once you do this rebooted version of something, it means you can never revisit those older things.
They were never going to.
Yeah.
It was over and done.
Exactly.
Well, you've drawn that correlation from Ninja Turtles, though. And what you're talking about now, I agree with you.
So how is Ninja Turtles different?
It's different. It's not the same. I'm not saying go revisit the old shit, but what they've reinvented and made new is not good.
No. But don't watch it. But the fact that it exists,
I have to watch it. It's Ninja Turtles. I have to watch it. That doesn't mean that I can't hate fuck it. But the new Ghostbuster stuff was fine. I'm fine with that.
I was too. I'm totally fine with it.
I thought it was good. I mean, as somebody now, I was having this discussion with a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. I am, and actually, me and him are similar, but he's much more old soul than I am. I'm very modern hipster kid. But we were born the same year. We're both 84, but based off tastes.
We're 84?
Huh?
Damn,
you look great for 84.
I look so good.
1984. You know what I meant? Anyway, we were both born in 1984. We're both 84 kids. Right. But we're on that cusp where, like, are we 80s kids or 90s kids? Like, we were.
Because when you came of age, was it during the time period of the 90s?
Like, we were really young for the 90s, but, like, 80s was also out before we were old enough to care. So, for me, like, I enjoyed Ghostbusters, but I was never like, I have a good friend of mine that I went to high school with who is part of the Ghostbusters group.
Brian.
Brian. And they have what's called the main Ghostbusters. They have an actual Ecto-1.
Oh, cool.
They have all but working proton packs.
Did you guys see that documentary? I want to say it was a couple of years ago. It was pretty recent because they included Kevin Feige. Was he? No, it wasn't Kevin. Paul Feig. I'm getting my Marvel and my Ghostbusters. But they went around and looked at all these people who do the whole Ghostbusters thing and think of it more than cosplay. They actually like do they go and do charity events and they go visit kids in the hospital with their Ecto-1s and stuff like that.
It's very much like the 501st.
Yes, right, exactly.
But it's for Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters. And no, these guys, we have the local baseball team, the Portland Sea Dogs, which are the Red Sox farm team, and they go and do events there. They go around to all the state fairs. They're at every convention, and they're full garb. They've got all their custom names on their outfits. Like, everything is done really well.
Cool. Yeah, you should watch that thing.
I wonder if they're in it.
If they're not.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I'd be surprised if they're not in it.
Yeah, but
considering the quality, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Yeah, but so obviously there's a passion level there, but like back to the original point, but like I don't.
The reboot.
Yeah, I mean, you get it now with Diablo 3 too. Diablo 3 is the big gaming one because everyone's like, oh, it's such a watered down version of 2 and blah. Sure. So play 2. They just patched it. They just patched it 3 months ago. Like, it's still being supported. And I don't like the new one being there doesn't affect the old one.
Doesn't eliminate the old one. It doesn't eliminate your love for the old. Doesn't cheapen your love for the old one.
So, I mean, people like to hate things for no reason.
They do.
So, I don't know. I'm a Nickelback fan, so...
So you probably experience you get that stuff hurled at you all the time. Okay, I'm a Spice Girls fan.
Yeah,
I get it too.
Yeah, but even Spice Girls doesn't get like I am a Blizzard fan. I am an Apple fanboy, and I listen to Nickelback. I get all the shit.
Why don't you just kick your own ass?
Yeah, right. Happy Gilmore myself.
Right,
but
see, there's so many. I'm not even gonna go down this road with you.
What? Nope. Oh, no, I don't know. Anyway,
Never
that's
mind.
fine.
Not gonna.
Self-reflection.
Not gonna do it.
No, and you get it with music. We can kind of tie back there a little bit. I mentioned it with Avenged, how they changed their style. Slipknot is another big one who changed their style a lot, and then the introduction of Stone Sour. Metallica has there's so many bands, and it's like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a little bit different too, because it's the same band, and it's like you want. But man,
that's the question, right? Like, do you want? And there's arguments on both sides. Do you want a band that continuously reinvents themselves, or do you want a band like the Ramones and the Violent Femmes? Whenever you pick up a new album for one of those guys, you know what it's going to sound like. It's going to be new music,
right?
But you're not going to have to worry about the Femmes adding. A harp player or something like that. It's always going to be what you expect. Cake is another good example.
Cake,
pick up any Cake album and it's
AC/DC.
You know what you're going to get. But that's funny. With music, like it's not so bad. Like, I'm fine with Metallica reinventing itself every decade. AC/DC, if they did that, I would be pissed.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the difference from that versus movies, right? Bands are bands. They can do what they want. Movies, I've got these directors and studios taking control of this IP that I love and changing it.
It's the movie itself doesn't have any control over itself being rebooted.
Exactly.
It's all in somebody else's hands. Just like if Metallica was changing and reinventing themselves because the label told them to, you'd think less of Metallica. Exactly. You'd have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I could. Yeah. Okay. That's fine, but what about in a situation where so we'll stick with Ghostbusters. Like you had Aykroyd who helped work on the script. You had all the actors with the exception of Remus who had passed away in the movie,
right?
You had, and then it was so the people that owned the rights to make a movie based off that IP were in there. They were involved, and they gave Feig their blessing. So how is that any different than Metallica writing an album of a different style? Do you see what I mean?
Stephen King gave them the blessing for The Dark Tower. That doesn't make Stephen King right.
Stephen King needs better discretion on who.
Stephen King was not true to his art form.
You know, you just destroyed
that is the
my
corollary
whole,
right
you
there.
destroyed my whole argument. You know what, though? See, here's the thing. Is with Metallica, you start off with Kill 'Em All. We now have, what's the new one called?
You had to ask me right now. I listened to it on the way here.
That album, it's not, is it something?
Shut up. Not Death Magnetic.
No.
Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Hardwired, okay.
Nicely done.
But as much as you love every single one of those albums, you still have Saint Anger.
I like Saint Anger,
go back
man.
to Saint Anger.
I'm fine with that.
Now, the problem is,
you know what the best thing about Metallica is their covers. Conveniently enough. So Garage Inc. is my favorite Metallica. But even with the newest album, if you buy the deluxe, they have Ronnie Rising, that medley.
Yeah.
That medley is amazing. Where they cover all those Ronnie Dio songs. Fucking
really?
amazing.
That's cool.
I have to check that out. Another one of those impactful moments, right? So growing up, I didn't get into rock until I was in my teens, which I think is why I went into it so full force. It was very country and like classic rock. So it was either Randy Travis or Bob Seger. Like that's where my parents were, right?
You got out of Denver then, huh?
Yeah. So
can I just interject real quick? So what does that say about me that my two best friends, you and Raul, right? You said what you just said. When I met Raul in high school, the only albums he had were NSYNC, 98 Degrees, Britney Spears, and Backstreet
That was my
Boys.
little brother.
I had to buy him. Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Buckcherry. Buy him, right? Metallica,
right?
Because those are what he had, and now you're telling me this. What am I? What's going on?
You're a savant of giving stuff.
Am I just like a closeted pop fiend or something?
The rock pusher.
Yeah.
Well, either that or we are his outlet.
Right.
For the shitty music he doesn't want to admit to liking.
It's just transference. That's all it is at this point.
Right. Now you can hang out with Brian and listen to Spice Girls.
Yeah. Right.
Bring it on.
I heard, dude. I heard that on the show, and I haven't listened as long as you, right?
Yeah.
So he said what he said earlier. Yeah. I wasn't sure if he was serious or not.
I'm serious.
No, I know.
It's always great. You always go to a live show and you get those bands that their images, they like to have fun. Like that's just like they don't have like Avenged is very dark and gothic-y and stuff like that. But you have those bands like a Buckcherry or like a Lit, right? A Theory of a Dead Man, perhaps. They just want to get up and have a good time. And I tell you, on more than one occasion with different bands, they have started a medley. And then they have gotten into, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Yeah. And I don't care where I am. I don't care who the opening or the closing act is. Everybody in that goddamn stadium sings along.
Totally. There's a lot of closeted Spice Girls fans.
Yeah.
I just happen to be out. I'm out. I'm out of the closet.
There you go. But yeah, no, with music, it's. But yeah, but back to my point, a memorable moment. Yeah, so I'm listening to again Seeger and Randy Travis, things like that, right? So I'm listening to TLC, and this is one of those moments that's in my head. I'm in my mom's house. I'm young, TLC days or TRL.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were chasing waterfalls.
No, I wasn't chasing waterfalls or making phony calls.
You don't want no scrubs, huh?
No. But yeah, and they were like, "Oh, Metallica's debuting a new video. It's a Bob Seger cover." And I remember sitting there in my chair going, "Please be turned the page. Please be turned the page." Oh, and man, I love that cover. That
you know what's funny about that is that the Thin Lizzy cover was so much better.
I don't listen to Thin Lizzy.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I love Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
And both bands covered Whiskey in the Jar.
Yeah, Whiskey in the Jar. So What? Man, I tell you, hanging out with this kid with that So What song cranked in the car. That cover that they did. And
So Fucking What by, was that wasn't Budgie, was it?
I don't know who the original was.
I can't remember now. The Anti-Nowhere League. That's who it was.
But
you know what's funny about that is we graduated from that to I Want to Fuck a Dog in the Ass.
Oh, Blink-182, yeah.
So we've devolved, apparently.
Yeah, Blink-182. Yeah, man, there are so many things we say. And, I mean, like we have our regular listeners, but there's a couple people in here that are probably fans of Brian that came in. Brian's never heard much of us, so there are so many things that out of context. We just sound like weird people.
Like the same in jokes, the same kind of thing that we do on Film Sack. Totally makes sense.
It's nice to have continuity in your podcast, but if you haven't listened to us before, we're just two weird looking dudes from Maine.
Yeah. Everything always has that edge to it, though. But no, yeah, it's man, music. I tell you, you know what surprises me? Because coming into this show, right? So I'm like, this will be a great show. Covers, movies, video games. We haven't
comics.
We haven't talked about video games at all.
Well, we did a little bit with the Blizzard and Activision.
Well, right, but I mean, like, got into it though, because you're a WoW player.
I'm a WoW player.
I think you are the first WoW player we have it on that WoW didn't take over half the episode.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that is why you got
very telling about my life too. Is that I'm on a raid team that plays every Wednesday and Sunday, and I know I'm probably the guy that they kind of help along. I'm the training wheels that they kind of say, all right, come on, Brian, let's go in here. And all right, oh, look, he's dead. That's all right. Well, don't resurrect him. Save that for the tanks.
Isn't that kind of the in-joke is you tank the floor? I
floor tanked. Yes, exactly. I actually did pretty well this week and got caught up with all the Argus stuff. I've got my I don't have the new attunement deal yet for my artifact weapon, because that's next week, I guess, right? That you can unlock the whatchamacallit, the forge.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. There's a forge you can unlock on the ship that allows you to start further evolving your artifact weapon.
Nice.
What? I've gotten like all the other stuff caught up. I'm feeling pretty good. I've got flying in Legion finally. I've got my class mount. I've been doing the Argus quest almost to the point. Yeah, there we go. Another light crucible. Thank you, Sidian. I've got my almost got my world quests for all of Argus unlocked. So I'm actually feel like I'm pulling my weight for a change in that game.
Nice.
See, I just jumped back into that too, and that just makes me excited to go back and play. I did a raid the other day and got called a fucking noob. I lost all my confidence. I got upset.
In LFR? Well, that's going to happen. You can be the best WoW player, and still somebody's going to call you a noob. It's like, why'd you pull that?
Yeah, I got yelled at. But I didn't get, nobody voted to kick me.
Well, there you go. There you go. I mean, whatever. LFR, people take LFR too seriously. Yeah. But no, so like I say, I started playing in 04, and even then, like my MMO career starts back in 95.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was playing Ultima Online, that was made by Origin, and based off the Ultima series. And then I migrated.
Did you just find a fortune or something?
No, I'm mesmerized by this white candy corn.
It's green apple. It's green apple candy corn.
But it's all white.
It's an albino. You found an albino candy corn.
There's a green tip. Just a tip. But yeah, so and then my EverQuest team migrated over to WoW. So I was in one of those guilds that was like, you fill out an application, we want your raid history. Yeah. Like you are there. Yeah.
Hardcore.
Well, because we were server first. We were on the server I was on, which was Thunderhorn. I think so. Way back in the heady days of 04. We were the only Horde guild on our server that defeated 40-man Nax before BC dropped.
Oh, wow.
Because they didn't give you that. I think there was like a few weeks. I think it was 6 tops. But yeah, we were the only guild that defeated Kel'Thuzad before BC dropped.
That's cool.
So yeah, no, it was a serious thing. And then it got, kids came and...
Of course, stuff like that.
But not only that, but I mean, even if I didn't have the kiddos, I can't devote that much time. I love gaming too much now. I can't devote that much time to one game.
No, there's too much out there. Heroes and Overwatch, and I'm trying to get back into Hearthstone before BlizzCon, because that's always one of my favorite things is watching the finals.
Yeah,
and I want to be able to know that when he pulls out the Sergeant Pinkeldink card and throws it out there, it's like, oh my god, what a great play. I want to know why that's a great play. So
can we please get a hold of Ben Brode and get a Sergeant Pinkeldink?
Sergeant Pinkeldink wouldn't be great.
He'd have to be a gnome.
You would definitely,
like that's a gnome right there. I mean, it works. Pinkeldink.
Pinkeldink. Are we doing
it flows well too.
So I'm imagining
like Magister Pinkeldink. Like, how do you not see that?
Magister Pinkeldink. So I have this
Magister Pinkeldink. Perfect.
The imagery in my mind was an amalgam of Princess Bride and the Beatles, but Magister Pinkeldink. Really, really, I like it.
I think I just found somebody's new gamer tag.
Nice.
I think you just found your new nickname.
Yeah.
Welcome to All Geeked Up. I'm here with Magister Pinkeldink.
Oh, what have I done? Oh no.
What have you done, Magister?
Sergeant Pinkeldink, 2 mana, 1/1, plays Disturbed Sound of Silence.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. I love it. Yeah, no, I'm kind of bummed I'm not going to make BlizzCon this year. Yeah. And then next year we're going to Adepticon, which is a tabletop convention in Chicago. Because thanks to Amy and JF and actually Tony Sandoval, who you also know. Yeah. So I've gotten into Warhammer, so we're going to that tabletop convention. So, but my hope is BlizzCon for 2019 because that's also the year the Star Wars stuff opens.
Yes, right.
So,
you gotta. There's two good reasons to be in Anaheim that year. Yeah.
But I tell you, I am. I'm happy as hell that I made it out to Nerdtacular this year. I was happy because I was planning anyway.
You came to a good one.
Yeah, I was planning anyway, and then once he said it was going to be the last of its kind, so yeah, no, I'm bummed it's the last one because it took that. I don't know. You put me in person with people, and you get that social anxiety, and you know what it was.
But with our group, it brings it out. Like it totally pushes that aside, right?
It does.
Yeah,
and actually, it's funny. So. And I don't know if you remember or if you've made the connection, but once I bring it up, I know you will. After the last night of Nerdtacular, I texted my mom and said, "Thanks for giving me fudge to take with me." Do you remember the peanut butter fudge?
You gave me fudge at the game, the board game.
And it was absolutely delicious.
And it was hers, right? You had the Tupperware thing with the fudge in there, and it was fantastic.
Right.
Yes.
So that was my major icebreaker that unfortunately didn't get used till the last night. Look there, Annalisa in the chat. Yes, the fudge. And
yes, so good.
Yeah, like it was. I remember you liked it so much. You're like, you have to go give some of this to Tina.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah. I ended up. Yeah, man, that was gone in like a half hour.
Yeah, I can see why. That stuff was fantastic.
So I texted my mom.
Tell her that I agree that the best thing she did was send you out there with fudge.
But yeah, man, I'm bummed it's the last one though. So
you know what? It's I don't know. Never say never. We're gonna do the TMS thing in April in Vegas. We're gonna have Dragon Con. We're gonna have these little things. I think Scott will eventually cave in and kind of come back to it.
It's funny. Once he talked about it, a couple of us were talking in the car and we're like, there'll be a Nerdtacular 2019.
I think so.
I think what's going to happen is he's going to do Dragon Con next year, which I think is great because they've been hounding him to go out there.
I'm going to try and do an All-Stars out there.
That would be awesome.
And make it a Frog Pants team versus a Diamond Club team versus a Giant Size Team Up team.
Now, have you been to Dragon Con?
I have, yeah. I used to go every other year. This is the first. This would have been a year that I go. I would go every other year.
Okay. See, I've never been. I'd love to go. I have a couple friends in Georgia. There's a couple of regulars, Diamond Club and Tadpool that go. Sure. But man, so JF was there this year. And I only bring him up again because he put a live video up of one of the parties. And I tell you, man, if Nerdtacular is like a bunch of calm nerds hanging out, like Dragon Con is a college party.
It is. It totally is. Yeah, boy. Dragon Con After Dark is something that it's the stuff of legends. It's almost impossible to describe because you're going to see Khaleesi's walking around wearing nothing but a dragon tail.
Khaleesi's with nothing but their Khaleesi's hanging.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody get hit by a chair there this year?
Yeah,
Khaleesi's are on display.
Yeah, somebody threw a chair.
Dragon Con is the most cosplay-filled con, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
It feels like, I don't know if I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con, but I still feel like Dragon Con's got that beat.
I want to go.
Well, I think the thing that compared to like a BlizzCon or a San Diego Comic-Con, now again, Dragon Con I've never been, but what I've gathered from people, and the same with Nerdtacular, is that so Nerdtacular was like I went to PAX East, I've been to a couple. I went to BlizzCon, right? But the difference between those two and Nerdtacular, and I mean, again, never went to Dragon Con, so you can tell me if the similarities are there. But the thing I loved about Nerdtacular was that when you go to a typical convention, you go for the panels. You go for what's being presented. And it just happens to be that there are people there of like mind with you.
Yeah.
Nerdtacular, you go for the people.
Yeah, for sure.
And it happens to be that, you know, you have a bunch of talented people doing panels. Yeah. But like I treated Nerdtacular the same way I treated BlizzCon. I didn't watch a single panel live. I was there for the group. I popped in to see the intros because you guys always do great intros. But it's all on the podcast feed. Yeah, and it's all on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's all on Twitch.
Totally.
So
no, that's the thing is with BlizzCon, you can, you know, you've got your virtual ticket. You can come home and watch every panel you want to see it even better than if you were standing or sitting in the audience.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And BlizzCon's the thing. You never miss the opening panel. Right. And then everything else you can, because there's always a reveal. Right. This year I'm hoping it's Diablo 4.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only thing that
I think we're going to get an expansion announcement probably.
I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't get one at Gamescom.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when they did Legion. Legion was unveiled at it was.
That's right.
The title was announced at Gamescom, and then we got the trailer at BlizzCon.
Right.
But I just don't think they were quite ready because they hadn't even gotten Argus out yet. So
no.
But no, I'd like to see it. Do you have any based off what you're playing in the story so far? Do you have any best guess as to where you think we might be going?
No idea. No idea. I'm so bad with the lore side of things, and I try to be the guy who reads every quest,
right,
and like get all the flavor and figure out all the stuff that why I'm getting 18 boar tails instead of just getting 18 boar tails. But there are some days where it's just like, yeah, click. All right, tell me what I got to go kill. Okay, the things with the lights underneath them, great. I'll go kill those. Come back to that guy, give that, move on to the next area. So I'm really bad as far as the lore of WoW. So I'm probably the worst person to ask a question like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't played since the second raid of Legion, so I have no idea. I was excited Illidan came back. I was excited that now I'm gonna feel like an asshole because I forget his name. Illidan voice.
Yes. Oh shoot. He put me on the spot too. His name is.
I'm not gonna do the Scott thing and start saying other names.
I know, but that wouldn't help me right now. Oh my god.
His name is Magister.
Is there, and I'm gonna look over there, but I'm not gonna. No. I'm gonna try to move this on my own.
Shit.
Oh my god.
Somebody in the chat say his name.
I feel horrible because we've emailed back and forth and
anyway, no, he's awesome. I was in BlizzCon of 2014 when he was at the live instant panel, and I have a video on my phone of him saying "You are not prepared," and I'm like, yes, but it doesn't ruin it, but like, okay, so you play Overwatch, right?
I do. Yes,
okay,
not very well. I mean, it's probably one I need a little more practice on.
No, that's fine. It's Overwatch. But the reason I bring it up is because so we just had Doomfist come out, right?
Right.
So Liam O'Brien.
Thank you, Sidian. Finally caught up to the audio. Yeah, Liam O'Brien.
Then JF goes, wait, Liam?
Yes.
But yeah, so I was talking with Amy. We were talking about Overwatch, and we were talking because at that point it was the whole like, oh no, why wasn't it Terry Crews doing the voice, right? And one thing
for Doomfist, right?
Doomfist, right? And one of the things was like when you have a character that's like an Illidan or any of the Overwatch characters that they try and flesh out really well. Yeah. If you have a voice,
a recognizable voice,
right, it becomes bigger than the character, and it's hard for that character. So. But the other side of that is once you've seen that person, it's hard to like when I hear Hamill's Joker, like everyone thinks it's so wonderful, but now I just see Hamill. Right. And the voice is perfect. Visually, he's not Joker.
That's seeing the sausage being made. It kind of changes the taste of the sausage.
So like seeing this short little dude say you are not prepared, like it kind of killed Illidan for me.
You were not prepared for it.
I wasn't prepared for it.
You were not prepared.
No, I wasn't. But no, he's cool, and it was cool to hear his voice work again. And he got so little lines in Burning Crusade. It was nice for him to be like a fully fleshed out main character.
Totally, he's all over Argus. He's telling me to do stuff all over the place. Go pick up 18 boar tails, is what he's telling me.
Now, how does that feel? Being somebody who is friends with him, being somebody who has conversed with him.
I've never heard him in person say "You are not prepared." So I still see Liam O'Brien and Illidan.
There's enough of a disconnect in the voice there.
There's enough of a disconnect. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got the. I haven't seen the sausage being made.
The fourth wall has not been broken.
Right. Exactly. Right. So I still.
Well, obviously, you're not prepared for it.
No. Again,
I wasn't prepared. I'm not prepared for it. And I'll never be prepared for it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that was cool. Anything else that you'd like to cover? I think you said you're not ready to announce any of your new stuff. So
I'm not. No, I mean, just the existing stuff. I mean, TMS still have. It's the best part of my day. It's the best way to start my day is TMS.
It's your Folgers.
What's that?
It's your Folgers.
It is my Folgers. The best part of waking up is TMS in my cup.
See, I keep saying how nice it would be to do a morning show.
Yeah.
Because I look forward to this all week, and how nice would it be to actually doing it in the
Schedules
beginning
suck.
and not the end.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's Friday for me is a 24-hour day. So
yeah. There
exactly.
You
go. But Coverville, I mean, I just appreciate however you listen. I appreciate you listening. So
Annalisa says TMS in your TMS coffee mug.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Or in this case, my finished. I wiped out that whole gin and tonic. I should have texted up and had Tina make me know. That's a good way to show that I'm done.
It's like, oh, drink's gone.
The cup is empty. Exactly. You must have quit.
That's right. I'll do the podcast as long as I have something in my glass.
Right.
Anyway.
So if you listen to this show and you aren't familiar with any of that stuff, be sure to check it out. It's great. And if you like everything that you hear at Inked Geek Studios, again, I can't thank Brian and Scott and like the whole Frog Pants proper community enough to kind of be my inspiration to start podcasting. So
sure.
Thank you. Of course, man. If you like my stuff and you don't listen to them, give them a listen. I mean, they've got music, movies, video games. I think Scott does a podcast for every Blizzard game.
I think he does. If he doesn't, there may not be a Hearthstone one yet, but getting back into that after BlizzCon, we'll be doing that too.
But I mean, he's got core, so I mean, everything's covered there, and I mean, the whole there. You'll listen to some shows where they'll have regular guests, and some of them you kind of have a feel for, some of them you don't. And I'm sure there are some people. I'm sure there are people that turn it off whenever Jury comes on.
Sure, it happens. Everybody. Somebody doesn't like Daryl. Somebody doesn't like Jury. Somebody doesn't like whatever. But that's why we've got it.
I have to say that one thing that I love most about the community that you guys have is that there's not a personality on there I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's because there's so many, like it's the colors of the rainbow.
It is. It's the United Colors of Frog Pants.
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome.
And it's, but I mean, and everybody is who they are. Like there's nobody who's coming on there and playing a role. Jury is exactly the Jury, is exactly who he is. And Nicole and Tom and Daryl and Steven and Bill and Wendy and I don't want to forget anybody. Got to be sure if I mention one, I got to mention all of them. But
Dan Patrice,
Dan, the tabletop man. Yeah, exactly.
So no, and of all of you that I've met in person, like again, it's like you said, you get what you get, and the cool thing is like you guys have all of this stuff that's tremendously popular, and you guys are so humble and so friendly, and it's cool, man. It's like I bumped into you and. I mean, there wasn't even like a hesitation. I was like, yeah, you should come on. Yeah, sure, I will. Like, it was so cool.
I remember we were sitting around Amy Frost's table where she was putting her jewelry out and stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing is that we do this show. We do the show for not just the listeners and the people who listen and support the show and stuff. We do it for ourselves. We do it for each other. So Scott continuously inspires me to keep podcasting, and to bring out new shows and come up with new ideas and throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks and what doesn't. So we're there's a constant state of influence and appreciation all around that.
Right. Yeah, it's cool. I tell you again, the whole like, I think probably my most notable moment from Nerdtacular was Jerry walked up behind me and just put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, "How's it going, dude?" And I'm like, "All right, that's cool."
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's nice, being recognized as a fellow podcaster. And it's almost like I'm no longer just the fan, but it's like, yeah, dude, you do this too. Like we're all kind of like, and it's very cool. Yeah, it's fun and it's great to be a part of it. And again, I really hope that the thought of maybe there'll be a 2019, like I hope that holds true. Snowbird's too beautiful not to go to again.
It is. It's too perfect. It's like the big ballroom and the scenery and the place we can all get together and do stuff in the tabletop gaming room and all that stuff. It's too perfect not to take advantage. Give Scott a couple of years to figure out that home is where he needs to be, and he'll make his little speak and spell radar dish and find his way back.
Yeah, I was trying to read the chat and I was trying to see why JF said "fuck you."
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I'm like, what? What did I say?
Really? Fuck you too, Nate.
No, I know, but to what? I'm sorry.
I think he's referring to the best moment at Nerdtacular.
Oh,
it was cool.
I mean, I didn't even get to go, but the best moment for me was the video and JF saying, "Pussy."
Which one?
The one that you sent me of you guys. He called me a pussy. It was great.
Oh, on the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Oh,
yeah.
Up on top of the mountain? Cool.
Yeah, we went up the mountain. After Nerdtacular proper ended, we went up on the mountain the last day.
Nice.
And
it's beautiful up there.
It's so cool. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, check out Brian's stuff, coverbill.com, frogpants.com for all the frog pants stuff. And again,
soundography.com. Basically, we got all the websites, right? Soundography.com, coverbill.com, PokemonGoPodcast.com if you're one of the. Hey, look, 28.5 million people play it daily. There's still players out there.
There's gotta be something.
And there's raids and legendaries. And if that isn't enough to pull you in, Mewtwo is going to be here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there we go.
Actually, I've got all the way back around now.
Do I have it up there? Is that?
Do you have a Mewtwo toy up there?
No, I have this.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, because I got 2 of the starter decks because I'm going to teach my daughter how to play.
Nice. There you go.
While also learning how to play.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
I played Magic. Never played Pokemon. So I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
My son plays Magic.
She likes the tabletop games. So
Very cool. That's a great thing to do together. That's
it is. I just recently taught her King of Tokyo. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Yeah. Played that. I actually played that at Nerdtacular a couple of years ago.
And then I think it was thanks to Dan's recommendation or one of her recommendations, the Monopoly Gamer.
Oh, that was mine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, isn't that like the best way to play Monopoly?
It's
Number one, short.
Cool.
Number 2, like rules that affect everybody on the table having to drop their coins and go and pick them up and stuff like that. It's such a blast.
And it's fun. And I mean, a lot of the times it's just me and my daughter. So one of the cool things about it is there's special rules for playing with 2 people.
Yeah.
And like you both control 2 characters and
oh, nice.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. And we got the GameStop edition, which I think was your recommendation. Like, was it like an extra $10? It's such a cooler looking box.
It is. The box is better. You get Bowser, I think is the difference, right?
Yeah, you get Bowser, and I guess there's like 4 or 5 others. And actually the box, now I don't know if the standard edition does, but the box that it comes with, it actually has the plastic inserts for all the extra characters too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, right. So as you get those other ones, which Nicole saw at GameStop or not at Walmart for like $3.50 each. So I think
really?
I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, they're blind bags, but what the hell? I'll go get 3 or 4 and just see.
Well, no, they're not the same ones then, because the ones from Monopoly Gamer aren't blind bags.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's
you can see who you're buying.
Yeah, because there's only like 5 or 6, right?
Yeah.
I think there's Luigi, there's Yoshi. No, Yoshi's in it. There's Luigi. There's Waluigi. I don't know. It's a couple. Diddy Kong.
Right.
Diddy
Toad
Kong
is in there.
Yeah, yep. Toad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but no, it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
I'm hoping that they progress it further, because that would be cool. Yeah. I think that's why they called it Monopoly Gamer, not Monopoly Nintendo.
Yes,
to kind of
I
have
think so.
that.
I think you're
future
going to
stuff.
see other properties in there at some point.
Right. So, well, we'll
Cool.
get ready to wrap up. We're coming up on 2.5 hours here, so which
I did pretty well. I didn't JF it, but I did pretty well.
No, you did. Like I said, you did great. I appreciate you taking so much time on a Friday night to come on.
Oh man, my pleasure. Totally. Thank you guys so much for having me. And this was a blast. This is had a really good time. I'm excited to listen to more of your show and check out the Amy and the Hammond interviews. And
very
really
cool. I appreciate that. If you do indie games too, we have an indie game podcast as well. So
cool.
Yeah, that's actually that's Amy and I.
Kind of like the Humble Bundle kind of stuff. And
yeah, basically we're only on we're gonna be on episode 3. We've done JF says JF it. God damn it. JF is a verb.
I do, say more of those things about just to see what his reaction is going to be saying this thing.
But yeah, so far we've done, we did Don't Starve Together. Okay. And then this past week we did Guacamelee.
Yes.
And then
I love that. Pick that up for the Vita, PS Vita. I loved it.
Yeah, I had never played it. And then it's every other Monday, and then we're doing The Escapist 2. So I don't know if you're familiar with The Escapist. It's a puzzle game where you're trying to solve puzzles and get out of prison.
Oh,
Escapist 2 is online multiplayer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
It's like
I'll have to check that out.
It's like $20 on Steam. So and
you're
then
giving me so many things to write down.
But anyway, yeah, so no, check it out. I appreciate that, man. It's, again, coming from somebody whose podcast I enjoy and who was part of the influence, the fact that you enjoy my stuff, that's really cool, man. That means a lot.
Oh, dude, my pleasure. Absolutely.
He enjoyed coming on this one show with us.
He did. Well, he said he listened
we
to
did
the
a good
Scott
job,
episode.
though. We did a good job, because usually it goes right the fuck off the rails. What happened?
Kept us on track.
What happened? It wasn't Deez's, was it? No, it was before that. Who was that?
When we went off the rails completely? Oh, there was
Josh.
Oh, yeah, man, you want to get a good laugh
right from the get-go.
You don't have to listen to the whole episode. Listen,
just the first 10 minutes.
Listen to the one that says Joey, not Josh.
Joey, not Josh. I saw that one on the list. Okay.
Yeah,
that was Zenger, right?
No, that was Joey.
But wasn't that Zenger?
No, it was Joey.
I don't.
Zenger was the episode before. Yeah, so the kid was cool. It was a great episode, but yeah, man, it's gone in the first 2 minutes, and you'll see exactly why. Cool. But anyway, so yeah, for the third time, check out all of Brian's stuff. Check out everything there. Yeah, it's I can't say enough. But anyway, for this show, if you aren't a regular listener, if you are a fan of Brian's and you came over to check this out, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. You can check out everything we do at inkedgeekstudios.com. And you can watch the show live every Friday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/inkedgeekstudios. And follow that Twitch channel for all of our live shows, including All Geeked Up, Movie Busters, and Indie Case Files, as I had talked about. And if you do listen to this on a podcast platform, any review is greatly appreciated. And if you like this show and everything else that we produce, if you would like to consider going to patreon.com/IGstudios, every little bit helps support this show and all the other shows that we do. And we appreciate everybody who currently supports us in that way. And I think that is going to do it.
I fucking hope so. I was a fan of the stools at the beginning.
Oh yeah, these stools.
But now?
Yeah.
No.
We'll talk about that for a second.
I'm like a gargoyle on a perch at this point, man.
Once we get off air. A big thank you to our live chat room. As always, you guys completely rock. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us you've been here since 8:30, so we're going on 3.5 hours now. Brian, thank you again for taking the time to come on.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you. For Brian, for Brandon, for myself, and for the rest of Inked Geek Studios, thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you next week. You've been listening to an Inked Geek Studios podcast. For this and other great shows, go to inkedgeekstudios.com.